Real Nerds is a proud partner of the Denver Podcast Network. In the shadow of the mountains,
we speak.
Hello, everybody. I'm JD Lopez, the host of Left Hand Right Brain. It's a free-flowing, wide-ranging conversation that I have with artists doing interesting and creative things here in Denver and beyond. We talk about their personal stories, break down their creative process, and what motivates them. Spoiler alert, it's mostly spite. We talk about all these things and more while kicking back, cracking wise, and always having a good time. You can find old episodes and everything you need to know at lefthandrightbrainpod.com.
Oh, hi, podcast listeners. There's many ways you can listen to the Real Nerds podcast. You can subscribe on iTunes. You can also subscribe on Stitcher Radio. You want to send us a Twitter message? You can do that. It's so easy, at Real Nerds. Like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com, where there'll be a lot of articles for you to not only read, but to listen to our previous shows. You can also call us, 720-6NERDS5. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Georges Genti, and you are listening to Real Nerds Podcasts.
Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Pop Culture Con 2020 and beyond. I am a host, James, and I'm here, and it's weird.
Welcome back.
I know.
Where have you been?
I don't know. And what's funny is when I was last here, we were talking about 2019, and now we're talking about 2020 because I missed all of Denver Pop Culture Con.
That's right.
Oh my God.
It's been like
so much has happened.
A month away for you.
Yeah. It's been pretty crazy. It's been like, 5 weeks, something like that.
You didn't get to fight in the Great Nerd War at Denver Pop Culture Con.
I didn't.
You didn't.
I missed the whole thing.
You coward.
Yeah. No. I was busy watching one human being come out of another human being. It's super weird. It's like The Thing, but in reverse. Like, you know when the dogs, at the beginning of The Thing, when the dogs, like, the vines shoot out?
Yeah.
Right? Imagine if instead of a dog, it was a person, and instead of, like, a weird alien, it was just a different person. That's kind of how it works.
Was the kid's head like the dog's head where it was sprouting out, going...
It's exactly like Zeus giving birth to Athena. It just pops out of their head.
Okay.
Like they just grow.
Way to bring Greek mythology into this.
Anyway, I had a kid.
Yes, you did.
It's crazy.
Well, tell us the name of the newest
Her
nerd.
name is Leona.
Ah.
Leona Lucille. Lucille named for Lucille Ball.
Ah,
Yeah.
right on.
Huh? It's pretty great, and she's doing okay.
Will she eventually marry a man who then
Let's
will
hope not.
refuse her to go to the show?
No.
Will she have a neighbor named Ethel?
No.
Okay. Will
No.
Ethel have a husband named Fred?
This is a great joke, Zach.
I know, it's wonderful.
It's so good. I've missed you so much. My God. How did I get bored before? I don't know.
I provide a service.
Yeah, so it's been crazy.
Yeah.
You know what's really cool, though, about having a kid and then being, like, semi off of work and also having good reasons to fucking do nothing? You watch a lot of stuff at home.
Oh boy.
It's
a long
great.
episode.
No. I'm going to skip over, but I will say, like we watched so much of The Office while we were in the hospital. Like, a lot.
Did you watch the episode of The Office where they're in the hospital?
When
Jim and Pam are giving birth?
Oh, no. We actually watched pretty much everything after that period.
Wow.
We watched a lot of the stuff that was like after Michael left and things that I'd never actually seen before, which was cool. So
right on.
Anyway, I am joined this week by
Zach
and
Brad.
Yeah, and no Ryan, which is unfortunate because this week, every week we go see a movie and podcast our experience of the world, and this week we went and saw Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yes.
Which, like, it's a shame to not have Ryan here for it. But we all know his review already.
Yeah. We also know
he basically tweeted it along with that adorable picture of his family.
Yeah.
We also know it's his favorite movie of the year for Film Explosion, so spoilers for that.
Well, hold on. He can totally twist things and make it Endgame because that also has Spider-Man in it.
Will he?
Dude, one of those things is Endgame.
But because Endgame could be, because it also has RDJ in it.
And because it's Endgame.
And it has that wonderful end sequence with a great dance. And it's Endgame.
Thank you.
I know how this game works with you.
Infinity War was last year, and also Spider-Verse, and I believed he still did Spider-Verse ahead of it.
Yes, but that's because Spider-Verse is a better movie.
Is Spider-Verse
as a standalone
better than Far
movie?
From Home and
Yes,
Endgame?
technically you're right on that.
Yeah,
yes.
like Infinity War is a better movie now that Endgame is out, because the reason I didn't put Infinity War on my top 10 list was it's an incomplete film. Like Spider-Verse has multiple Spider-Man on it. Like there's a good reason why that would beat out Infinity War on his list for the year.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's Endgame. I'm just saying. This is like more controversial than anything on the rest of our list. Is like which Spider-Man movie ends up at the top.
It's gonna be a crazy film explosion later this year.
It will be.
The actual controversy will be where it goes on my list, if at all.
Wow. Yes. So later we will talk about the movie, and we'll talk about whether you should see it, and then we'll play the trailer, and then after that we'll get into spoiler territory. There is more spoilers for this movie than I even realized beforehand when I found out that I had totally spoiled part of the movie for my wife unintentionally. Like my parents
She'd just given birth, man.
No, well, it's one of those things where you're talking about Spider-Man and you say things because that's like about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then you realize that weeks later when she sees the movie, if you hadn't said that, she wouldn't have known that was going to happen. My parents saw this movie totally cold, and they were way more shocked than
you were,
than like Brooks was. Yeah, and that isn't because the shocker is in the movie. So. But I wish
way to lay that in.
I wish he was. Anyway, so we'll do that. We'll also talk about a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, what do you guys want to do first? Brad, you want to? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say this ice is starting to melt. So
oh man,
we should probably
yeah.
Wait, do we cue the Stranger Things theme in here now?
Man, Brad, what do you got? And pop that right up next to the mic so everybody can hear you open it.
So I went all the way back to 1985. I time traveled and I grabbed.
What a great year!
This special this limited edition, even in its own time. I have a can of New Coke in my hand in an aluminum can. It says New Coke on it.
Wow! So this is how Coke is going to taste for forever now. They're going to replace the shitty old taste of Coke with this new better Coke.
Yeah.
Right?
I heard back then it was controversial because people did not like the taste. They did not want their Coke formula tampered with.
Well, my hope would be that they make it taste more like Pepsi, because Pepsi's better.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not getting Coke advertising money ever now.
No.
I'm actually kind of in agreement with James. I kind of like Pepsi more.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't burn as much. Coke tastes like it's assaulting you. I mean, it's good. I'll drink it. But anyway.
You have a strange relationship with Coke assaulting you. Anyway.
What did show us on the doll where the soda touched you.
Yeah. So anyway, seriously, if you're not like those listening at home, if you're not familiar with New Coke, 1985, I think for a month they brought out a new formula of Coke. I'm not sure why they changed it.
There were riots in the street.
The ingredients are missing from the back. There's no, like, it should say, corn syrup and water, and it does. It's over here, not on the can. It's on the box.
But the can is a mystery.
So I'm trying to compare the two.
Does it have sugar in it?
They both have water, high fructose corn syrup, phosphoric acid, natural flavors, caffeine, caramel. Like, they're identical. Carbonated water, they have the same ingredients.
It's almost like all soda's the same. Every soda is going to have that. It's all about which natural flavors and...
Ooh, the New Coke has 34 milligrams of caffeine compared to normal Coke that we were already drinking at 23. So this has more caffeine in it.
This is like a Jolt soda.
So that means I'm not going to sleep tonight?
Probably not.
Yeah.
But that's just because of your own nightmares.
You're only getting a third of this.
Yeah, that's right. I have plenty of nightmares.
Right,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so we'll find out what the big deal was those years ago.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. I've had this for like 4 weeks now.
Oh my goodness!
Wait to crack it open.
Do it.
So let me back this microphone up so I can.
Drum roll. Oh.
Show us that can again real quick.
Smells like normal Coke.
Does the way your time machine work mean that it's not going to be like super old?
Oh yeah, it's just water now.
Yeah.
All the caramel's stuck to the inside and at the bottom.
All the soda has seeped out through the aluminum.
Yep, do it.
Weird. It looks like Coke.
What did you expect it to look like? What else is Coke gonna look like?
Oh, here.
It's been around how long, James?
I want to try some of this.
Not over the board.
Oh, that's probably a good idea.
Sorry, I almost didn't give Zach any. I was just filling this cup.
I'm gonna have just a taste because this is really breaking my commitment to no soda.
Oh yeah, that's true. This isn't new diet Coke.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So I apologize to people who have been encouraging me to not do soda. That this is what it's come to.
Yeah. This is one of like 2 sodas I've had in the last 2 years.
Yes.
There you go. Have just a little bit.
Caffeine in there. I'm gonna be awake.
Here, there's a little left in the can, so somebody can have a little more.
All right, are we ready with our glasses to toast?
Yeah.
To new Coke.
To 1985, a great year.
Let's do Coke, guys.
Oh fuck. Holy shit! It tastes like Pepsi.
Does it?
Yeah.
I'm not tasting anything.
So wait a minute.
Although I did just brush my teeth.
It does taste like Pepsi. So wait a minute.
It's still a little cokey, but it tastes way more like Pepsi.
So-
it does not assault you.
So do you think that's why they took it off the market because it tasted too much like their competitor and they got jealous?
No, I think that the people who drink Coke like their Coke to not taste like Pepsi. Because if they like their Coke to taste like Pepsi, they buy fucking Pepsi.
I guess you're right.
Yeah, it's
It does
smooth.
kinda taste like Pepsi.
Yeah, like it's smooth. It doesn't. Yeah, that's a delicious Coke.
I mean, let's be honest. They took it off the market because it was a marketing gimmick in the middle of 1985.
Do you really think? Do you think their intention was because that's why they ended up having to put classic Coke on there for 20 years or whatever it was?
Yeah.
Like you really think that they only made new Coke to piss people off so that they could then get them excited about regular Coke?
No, a lot of advertising and like revenue is just getting buzz out. So like it was a spike in sales for shareholders for July, 1985.
That's good Coke. Man.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I'm gonna try it without the ice.
And I will. A little bias is that.
Wait a minute. It tastes a little weird without the ice. I'm going to drink it with the ice again. Just keep going.
You're right. It does just kind of taste like Pepsi.
So, okay, I'm glad you say that because I was drinking a cherry Pepsi right before this. So I was afraid of some bias there, but I don't.
Yeah, we should have done a palate cleanser before we did this.
Well, the nice thing is, I mean, here I have a Pepsi. I know what a Pepsi tastes like. This kind of tastes like Pepsi. A lot of times Coke, like just straight Coke, it does. It like,
Yeah.
It'll assault my throat.
No, this one's a little bit more smooth. It's a little,
it's
but it's got the
delicious.
right amount of kick to it.
Without the ice in, it's starting to slide back into feeling like like somewhere in between Diet Coke and regular Coke.
Oh,
without the aspartame.
Sure.
Do you know what it tastes like with the ice? It tastes like I just bought it from McDonald's, and there's no fucking difference. It's like it's just coming out of this fountain. It doesn't even taste like it's coming out. The can feels different to me.
Well, fair. That's
there you have
interesting.
it.
Yeah.
Turn
All right.
that can again
Science.
to the camera here. We're gonna see the label again, New Coke, and then turn it again.
Is this really camera worthy?
Yeah, man. So where did you get said New Coke?
So if you want to try it like we did, you can actually go to I think Coke.com/1985 and buy your own box. Ours came. You get 2 cans. It's $20 if you get 2 cans of New Coke, and then there's like Stranger Things branded like mini Coke bottles of Zero and regular.
$20?
$20 for these 4
That is
Cokes.
the most expensive can of soda I've ever drank.
James,
I mean,
that's the modern economy.
That includes,
Don't you know?
You know how many boxes of Pepsi I could get?
that includes shipping too.
I could get like 6 cases of Pepsi.
For that kind of money, I can probably find on eBay the Holiday Spice Pepsi, and it'll taste just as good.
Yeah.
And that's actually
Man.
good Holiday Spice Pepsi.
Hey, you know what people should do? Go buy Pepsi. It's really good.
Brad, should people go buy Pepsi?
I don't care. Either one, they're not that different.
Pepsi.
Oh, wow.
All right, that video's
No.
done. But I'm uploading that to the Instagram.
That'll just be a great time.
Yes, it will.
People are going to love that.
Yeah, or they'll get bored and shut it off like I will.
Did you love this week's Coca-Cola segment of the Real Nerds Podcast? Would you like to watch it happen?
Dude, tune in next week when we review the All-American Mountain Dew flavor, where it's every flavor pushed into the bottle like sadness.
That's not a real thing, is it?
Yeah, it's like that America Berry thing, whatever the fuck. It's supposed to be like a suicide where they just flush every flavor in like a
That's too bad because
sea of
there's only-
depression going into the bottle.
There's only one good flavor of Mountain Dew, and it's Mountain Dew. Like
I liked Code Red when
Code Red
I
is
was a younger.
fine, but it's not.
But then I grew up.
Good, yeah.
And now I don't do any of it at all. In fact, I should pour one of these out for my homies. So,
Anyway, we can move on. What do you guys want to do first? Zach, why don't we do some news?
news? Really, you want to do news?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, we'll do news.
It's real news.
There was quite a bit of stuff. So we were supposed to get a Flash movie from John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein.
Flash like Gordon?
No.
Oh, Flash like the DC character.
Yeah. Ezra Miller's The Flash because he created it. But they are dropping out.
Good.
And it looks like Andy Muschietti from the It series and also Mama is in talks to take over that project. So cool. I actually have faith that Andy M could do something with that. I'm only calling him Andy M because I feel like a jerk not knowing how to pronounce his name.
But wouldn't it be better if he did something else?
Yes, I agree. I would love him to do anything but this.
Yeah.
However, if he's gonna do it, I know the project's in decent hands.
If it's got to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I have to be eaten by a shark, I hope it's Bruce from Jaws.
At this point, like, what is that movie? I don't know. I think we had this conversation the last time I was on. Never mind. Let's move on.
I really
we
hope
don't need to keep talking.
I
about
really
DC
hope
stuff.
it's like Chariots of Fire, but with superheroes.
so boring as shit, but with superheroes.
But has a great song that we all remember.
Yeah. When my mom made me, I'm sorry because she's listening, but when she made us all watch Chariots of Fire, we all picked on her for years. We're like, why did you make us watch this god awful film? It's so boring.
I mean, like, I've seen it once, and that was enough.
Yeah.
And that was like when you're trying to watch all the Best Picture winners, and you wonder why. Anyway, also, Baz Luhrmann, noted director of such films as Romeo plus Juliet, Moulin plus Rouge, Oz plus Australia, and Great plus Gatsby, is going to do a movie about Elvis Presley. And he's already got people in the running to play Elvis Presley. We got Ansel Elgort, Miles Teller, Harry Styles, and many, many more. In other news, music biopics are now the superhero movies of the world, right?
God, I just want to slam my head into the desk.
So
you know what I don't need to see again?
What does his Elvis Presley movie look like?
What I don't need to see again is a scene where a couple people are standing around a piano and one of them goes, "Hey, what about this?" And then they play 3 bars of a song, and then we smash cut to that person in front of 1 billion people singing that song, you know. God.
So, James, you're telling me you loved Bohemian Rhapsody.
Big fan.
My question is, who plays Boris Gump in the Elvis Presley biopic? Because somebody has to teach Elvis his dance moves, because that happened in that movie.
God, I would see that movie. I would see that movie. That would
Baz
be
Luhrmann's Forrest Gump.
So, I will say this again. Just make it about one thing. Make it about, like, only the last 20 days of his life, right? Make it the My Week with Marilyn of biopic movies, and it'll be fine. Like, if you make a biopic movie and it's about a thing that happened to them and not a summary of their life, it can be good.
It could.
Like, Lincoln is not a biopic. It's about a thing, but it's a biopic.
But you're comparing apples to rotten apples here, because Lincoln is made by a master.
Yeah,
and
but I'm just saying anybody could do that. Like,
although I will say
all
My
you have to
Week
do is
with
get a
Marilyn
good
isn't
script.
bad.
No, it's not. I love My Week with My point is My Week with Marilyn is
I thought you were talking Baz
movie.
Luhrmann.
No. I was just saying My Week with Marilyn isn't Baz Luhrmann. I was just saying take a little bit of their life and focus on that, and then like a prism, all the things about that character can reflect through it, but you don't have to hit every beat of the of that historical person's life.
I agree, because that's what documentaries are for.
Like Bohemian Rhapsody, if it had literally only been about writing Bohemian Rhapsody and all the things about those characters' lives came through in that 2-month period where they were working on this like ridiculous rock opera, holy shit, what a cool movie that could be.
I agree.
And you'd fictionalize a lot of it, and you'd put scenes in there that didn't happen at that time, but you're bringing that character to life in a cool way. I just don't need another survey of a character.
I agree. I
make that movie about just when Elvis goes to war.
That's
about him stopping making music to go to war. That'd be an awesome fucking movie.
I agree. And I will caveat, though, I did really like Rocket Man because I liked that it took a creative approach to that trope.
Sure.
But I agree. It would be nice for it to focus on one certain element and not the whole span of stuff. But anyway, so yeah, we'll see what happens. Will Baby Driver be Elvis? Will Mr. Fantastic be Elvis? Will Harry Styles of One Direction be Elvis? Find out someday. Brad, you like RoboCop, and Neil Blomkamp's making a new RoboCop, and the original RoboCop suit will be in that movie. So yay.
Good. I mean, we've heard he's doing it before, so I'm not sure what the news is.
Yes, another news, Neil Blomkamp has another project on the horizon.
When I will believe Neil Blomkamp news when a movie comes out with his name on it again.
Yeah. I mean, if the news is just he's using the suit design, great. Like that's the first great decision to make with that movie is to return to those designs.
Also get a good writer.
Yes. Of course.
Yeah.
Have a reason to make that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Story, I guess, is important.
Yeah.
We got a trailer for a movie by a little-known filmmaker who made a movie that is so great that they mentioned it in the from the director portion of the trailer.
Hell yeah.
It's called Knives Out, guys, and it's Rian Johnson's murder mystery that looks fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I was so excited about this.
Daniel Craig plays a Southern detective.
That was probably some big balls to put Last Jedi on that trailer.
Oh, I like it because it's a big fuck you to people.
Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't be ballsy because it is the best Star Wars movie ever made.
But the internet sucks.
Yeah. What's really great is like he started off making mysteries, so for him to make this sort of, it feels a little tongue in cheek. You know what it feels like? It feels like Gosford Park.
Yes.
It feels like a slightly tongue in cheek, little whodunit. Like a Hercule Poirot, but with a sense of humor.
Yeah. It's funny because there's a trailer out for a movie called Ready or Not, which has a similar tone-ish to it, but it's more of like a girl is playing hide and seek, but the family's trying to murder her. But it has that kind of drawing room feel to it, mixed with slasher humor.
It's a fun, good time.
Yeah. Knives Out, however, looks like an elegant mystery.
Yeah.
But so that'll be interesting to see how those two work against each other in the box office realm because they're coming around the same time.
It's clearly like there's a lot of Murder on the Orient Express in that trailer.
Yeah. Oh, I'm wrong. Knives Out's coming later. But this is a solid cast, and anytime I can see Jamie Lee Curtis doing anything, she doesn't have to just be fighting Michael Myers. She could be doing anything. I will gladly watch it.
I'm excited about almost everybody in that movie.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's not one person in there I don't want to be watching on screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fun trailer. You can check that out. I didn't watch this trailer, but I wanted to bring it up because there's a Jacob's Ladder remake, and there's a trailer for it. Did anybody here watch it?
I haven't seen the original, so
yeah, don't care.
Moving on. Hey guys, so we can't get a Gremlins 3, and we can't apparently give Joe Dante any work. But we can do is take the things that he made famous and turn them into an animated prequel series. Because that's what Warner Media is going to do in a show called Secrets of the Mogwai. Which will be going to their streaming service. The animated series is set in the 1920s Shanghai and will show viewers how Mr. Wing, the shopkeeper from the first movie, first discovered Gizmo the Mogwai. See, they call it Secrets of the Mogwai, and I'm pretty sure Mr. Wing told us all the secrets in the first one. Don't feed it after midnight.
I've never seen
doesn't make sense.
any of the Gremlins movies. Sorry.
You what?
I grew up without them.
Oh, you poor child.
So are there a lot of secrets
No, there's rules you have to abide by, and I'm assuming those are the secrets.
When you watch the first movie, do you go, man, I really want to know more about Mr.
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's not important. It's important is
Do you really want to know what he does when he goes home at night?
It's a cautionary tale about taking care of a pet.
Yes.
Like, that's it.
Yes, and then the second one's about not giving a fuck and being awesome.
Plus cameos.
And, Leonard Maltin gets killed by the gremlins in the second one, and it's pretty fucking awesome.
All right.
It's because he gave the first one a bad review, so Joe Dante decided to get revenge by calling his old friend Leonard and saying, hey, want to be in my movie?
That's pretty great. I like that.
Yeah. Watch Gremlins 1 and 2, James. You won't be disappointed.
Okay.
However, this animated show, I don't know. I mean, if I go to Warner Media site and buy their streaming service, maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah, I'm going to vehemently not.
Well, it's from Amblin Television, so by Spielberg law, you have to watch it. Oh, but you didn't watch the movies anyway, so you already broke Spielberg law.
Is there some reason, is there going to be something there that I need to have?
From Warner Streaming?
Yeah.
Classic films that only I like.
But I own the movies I want.
Then no, you're fine.
They need a shitty Star Trek Discovery if they want to lure me in. We'll get there. Go
Fresh Prince Origins.
Okay.
This very big company called Disney bought Fox this one time, and they collapsed a lot of divisions and have started chopping away at some projects. And one of them is very sad for me because there was going to be an Alien Nation remake helmed by Jeff Nichols of Midnight Special, Mud, and Take Shelter. This sucks.
Okay.
Not necessarily because Alien Nation is something I was dying to watch.
Yeah, I didn't care until you said Jeff Nichols.
Yeah, see, Jeff Nichols is the thing. I want that man's work on the screen. I think Midnight Special is an underrated flick.
But what if Jeff Nichols just goes and makes more things like the things he's made?
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with that either, because this could compel him to do something amazing. Like, the only film of his I haven't seen is Loving.
If he's got a really great idea, and now he can't make it Alien Nation, he could go make a cool new thing and use that idea, but have it be called anything else.
I agree. The sadness about it is that it's a project that was long gestating that he worked on, and now Disney decided we don't need that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it was bad.
We got a trailer for Mulan, the live action remake,
that's
which
right,
looks
I
fun.
watched that.
Speaking
Literally
of
before
Disney,
we got here.
yeah,
Oh, shoot, I haven't seen that yet.
Looks like lots of fun. I'm down with it.
Cool.
Yeah. Into another.
Are we super tired of Disney remakes yet? One a year I would have been okay with.
I mean, at this point, I'd like to watch them as long as they're well made. I mean, I don't care about casting controversies. I don't care about how good the trailer is and whatnot. It's just ultimately, does the movie pique my interest? I still want to see Aladdin, but it
did
wasn't.
Any of us see Aladdin?
I did.
He did.
Oh,
it's not at the top of my list of interest right now.
Yeah.
Jungle Book was, because there's a deeper childhood connection with me for Jungle Book.
Yeah.
And Beauty and the Beast is
Jungle Book was really good.
Yeah, well, and Beauty and the Beast was one with my mom showed me Beauty and the Beast when I was a kid, so she wanted to go.
Yeah, that's a really good. Yeah.
Anyway. And also I like Bill Condon, and Ian McKellen, so that's why I went to Beauty and the Beast. Moving on to another division of Disney, though, Marvel Studios is coming to San Diego Comic-Con for a 90-minute panel in Hall H. So if any of you guys are going to San Diego Comic-Con, be sure to go to Hall H and watch Marvel Studios explain things.
Cool.
Or not explain things. They could keep everything a mystery for 90 minutes.
It'd be really great if they announced their release title.
I think that's what it
calendar,
is.
Yeah.
You know what it should be? It should
just give us the next 5 movies.
You know what it should be? It should be 90 minutes of Sam Rockwell doing the Justin Hammer dance on stage. That would be epic.
If there was a movie with Hammer in it, that'd be great.
Because we don't have anything with dates or titles past Far From Home, do we?
No.
Yeah.
Right now we have nothing. It's why they have to. Partially I'd like them to make some announcements so that we kind of know what new stuff they're coming up with. Because they're going to give you a Guardians of the Galaxy 3 date. They're going to give you a new Spider-Man date.
Black Panther.
They're going to give you a Black Panther date. It'd be nice if they gave some
Captain
direction
Marvel,
to
probably.
where, and a Captain Marvel date. It'd be nice if we got some direction on Avengers-wise. Where are we going? Are you giving us a Young Avengers? Are you giving us an A, or not A-Team?
New Avengers.
A-Force.
An A-Team? You like that remake from the 2011 too, don't you?
I do.
Isn't it weird? There was a time where we had a slate. We were seeing 3 years ahead constantly, and all of a sudden now there's nothing.
Well, and I think some of that is intentional because they kind of don't.
Yeah, you don't want to spoil everything. Oh, Doctor Strange.
I also, Doctor Strange. I kind of don't want them to set up a new. I want the phase, and Kevin Feige's even said like the phase thing is kind of going away, and if they don't set up a new Thanos, they can just make movies now and not necessarily have this daunting task in front of them. Or they can just let the characters breathe.
Yeah. Or they can do my idea, which is take Stan Lee's brain and put it into a robot, and so that way he can do more cameos.
Yeah, and then go remake RoboCop 2
with Stan Lee
by injecting weird nuke drugs into Stan Lee.
Your move, spider friend creep. Hey, this is interesting. There was going to be a Lionsgate Entertainment City in the middle of New York's Times Square, and that's now not happening.
The hell is Lionsgate Entertainment City?
I guess it was going to be their version of a Disneyland, but it was going to have stuff from The Hunger Games, John Wick, and Mad Men. That sounds like the most debaucherous
There's going to be
park.
like a Mad Men bar.
So it's Planet Hollywood.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, but for Lionsgate.
Okay.
Yeah. But like, what
Probably
would the
no roller coasters.
So would the Hunger Games be you fight for your meal? And
Probably just laser tag.
Probably, yeah. It's probably just like
laser tag and Pan Am.
They put you in a box and throw bees at you.
They make you stand in a line and deny you bread.
No. That's really good. I was going to say, you get your dinner, but then you're taunted by Donald Sutherland in a wheelchair for an hour during meals.
No. It's actually that there's a menu, but you don't get to pick what you want because you don't actually have any agency in your own fucking story. What?
Oh, yeah. And there was going to be a John Wick element, which, I don't know, you have to shoot your
Because
way
why
out
not?
to not pay the bill.
Yeah.
You kill dogs for like 30 minutes.
You can only pay in weird gold coins.
It's probably just a hotel.
Yeah.
You can stay there.
Second to last news, that Lord of the Rings series got a director, J.A. Bayona from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
That's too bad.
I don't think he's a terrible director, so we'll see what he does with television.
Yeah, let's hope.
But that's good. And in final news, we're going to talk about one of James's favorite people. Quentin Tarantino says he doesn't know if he's going to make another movie or not. This may be his last movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, coming out in 2 weeks, unless he changes his mind.
Great.
Here's the thing. I've been
Let
hearing...
me know the next time he masturbates in public. Like, what the fuck? Like, no, I just don't give it. Either make another movie or don't.
I don't believe him.
Don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Either do it or don't. Like, that's even more up in the air. Like,
Then up in the air.
oh my god, that's just obnoxious. Like, what a blowhard. And I like his movies and I like him, but what a blowhard thing to do is go out there and talk like anybody gives a shit about what you think today you're gonna do for a job.
Here's the thing. It's also the same. One, it's the same thing Steven Soderbergh kept doing, where he kept threatening to retire and then ended up ultimately not
but
doing
that's because he's like a twisted, self-hating artist.
Kevin Smith did it too.
Yeah, but that's because he smokes too much weed.
Anyway, though, second thing is, I read the interview where he gave that quote, and it seems like this is just one thing that interviewers like to discuss because they do want to genuinely know.
Because he opened the
And
door.
the thing is that I don't know if he has a solid answer for it, because he said this might be the last one because he would just want to go out on top because it has been getting good reception.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I think he's just probably frustrated because the film business is changing and he wants to stay old school.
Yeah.
But
that's fine. He's made enough money. He can make movies however he wants to.
Or he can write the movie books he wants to write, or the plays he wants to write, which are totally cool.
He can still write movies and not direct them.
He did have a direct quote that I do want to read for you, which is, I heard that James Hart didn't like my last movie, all right, man? And so I've got to make a good movie again so that he can get back into my world, okay? I don't want to isolate him, dude.
I'm glad he has me on his mind.
Yes,
because
exactly. This is all for you,
true.
James.
He's been going downhill for a while, and it'd be nice for him to make a movie that is worth watching.
This is what he also said. I mean, James is wrong about the Hateful Eight, but it's all right, man. Can you dig it, Jack?
Can you believe the Star Trek film is still going forward?
I don't. No one knows what's going on with
That's
that.
so weird.
I mean, probably not. There's a box set called the Kelvin Timeline with the 3 movies in it.
They're pretty much wrapped on that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, all kidding aside,
We're waiting for that Discovery movie.
All kidding aside, though, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood does look fun.
Yeah.
And actually, there is a podcast of him talking with the Pure Cinema podcast where they go through the entire lineup of the New Beverly schedule for July and how it pertains to the film. And it's 2.5 hours of Quentin describing every movie on that schedule, and it is pretty entertaining. So if you want to check that out, go overhead to that show.
I was pretty disappointed that I got the first trailer for Hollywood in front of
Oh, you didn't get the red band?
No.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, of course I didn't get the red band, but there was a second trailer after that. Because when the red band came out, I thought there was a green band version of that trailer. That's the one where she makes the joke about like, oh, I'm the ditzy girl.
I'm the klutz.
Like, there's a green band version of that trailer. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It's not as fun though because Brad Pitt doesn't say in it, "You're Rick fucking Dalton, don't you forget it."
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, of course. But that trailer is really good.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm excited.
And also, I like the way that it uses Neil Diamond and makes Neil Diamond cool, because that's never been done before.
No one has ever said, "Oh man, Neil Diamond is so cool."
I mean, his music's fine, I guess. But anyway, that is news.
Cool. We got a voicemail from Corinne. Brad, you want to roll that voicemail?
All right, here we go.
Catching the classics.
Hey nerds, Corinne here for part 20.8 of Catching the Classics, which is actually part 8 of Catching the Miyazaki Classics, where I'm going through all 11 films directed by Hayao Miyazaki. This week you get a double feature of My Neighbor Totoro and Kiki's Delivery Service, which are Miyazaki's 4th and 5th movies respectively. So let me actually tackle Kiki's Delivery Service first. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I did submit it as part of my 1989 film Splosion list, and I did talk about it a little bit there. So if you're interested in hearing more about it after today's recording, you should either go check out the 1989 film Splosion episode or go check out the realnerdspodcast.com and you will see the article posted up there. So, Kiki's Delivery Service is about a young witch named Kiki who leaves home to kind of start her young, I guess, it's kind of like an apprentice year for witches, is that they're supposed to leave home at 13 and spend a year in a different city doing whatever. And because Kiki is not very good at any kind of like witch-related activities, the only thing she's decent at is flying on her broomstick. So that's what she decides to do. She decides to start a business where she delivers things. And that's pretty much the movie. There's really not a lot of conflict or plot to it. Like, there are some moments where, especially toward the end, where there is Kiki's trying to do stuff and save people. But it's kind of more episodic where Kiki will have one problem, she's like trying to deliver a package and the package gets damaged, so she has to deal with that. And then the next time she has to, she's trying to go to a party, but she's also trying to get this thing delivered on time. And so, yeah, it's almost more episodic than it is kind of like a overarching single plot line. But it's still a very cute and charming movie. Again, this is kind of an older Miyazaki movie, so the colors don't pop as much. The opening shots where she's like laying in the grass in this like meadow and there's like a lake nearby, and it doesn't look bad. It just looks kind of muted compared to newer Miyazaki movies or newer Studio Ghibli stuff. But I mean, obviously I can't hate on it just because it's old. So, Kiki's Delivery Service, I'm gonna give it a B+, A-. It's like borderline for me because, again, while it doesn't really have a plot to it, I realize this is kind of more for younger audiences. And actually, cards on the table, this is the first Miyazaki movie I ever saw, and it's the only one I ever watched as a kid. So it does have a little special place in my heart because of that. And I think it is a really cute and charming movie, and maybe not everybody would like it, but I think that for a movie that's kind of about nothing, this is a pretty good movie. Unlike My Neighbor Totoro, which I'll talk about here in a second. But yeah, I'm going to give Kiki's Delivery Service a B+/A-, right? Like borderline between the two. Okay, so My Neighbor Totoro. We need to talk about this movie. So, I have seen both of these before, obviously. It had been a while since I saw My Neighbor Totoro, and you guys, you nerds, like to criticize Ponyo for being a movie for babies. My Neighbor Totoro is really more a movie for babies because, kind of like Kiki's Delivery Service, this doesn't really have a plot to it. But I mean, Kiki's, like, the setup, I think, draws you more into it, but with My Neighbor Totoro, the setup is pretty much the entire movie. That you have these two sisters, Satsuki and Mei. Satsuki's probably like 9 and Mei is 4, and they move with their dad into this new house in the country. Their mom is in the hospital. We're not really sure with what. It seems to be set in more like 1930s maybe, because there's one shot where somebody has like a really old phone. So I'm assuming it's not set in the modern day, but it's kind of hard to tell based on just like the clothes that they wear. It's really more the technology that gives it away. But anyway, so they move with their dad into this new house, or into an older house, and the girls start thinking that it's haunted, and then they end up meeting and befriending the nearby forest spirits, one of whom is named Totoro, which, if you've ever seen any artwork of Studio Ghibli's, or like the logo for Studio Ghibli, that is artwork from My Neighbor Totoro, of the little, I don't even know what I guess they kind of look like roundish cats, is maybe the best way to describe them. Like, I'm sure you guys have seen them. They kind of have this like kind of oblong oval shape to them, but they're super cute, and they have like the little one sitting on top of the bigger one. That is artwork from My Neighbor Totoro. So kind of like Kiki's Delivery Service, it's really more episodic than it is with this, like longer plot line. But it's unlike Kiki's Delivery Service, where I think you like the character of Kiki enough, and it's a good setup that you're kind of invested in it. In My Neighbor Totoro, the kids are younger, so you kind of have like the Ponyo effect of annoying little kids running around for a good portion of the movie. There are parts where it's fine, and there are parts where it's like, okay, let's get going here. But it also kind of has like the slow, almost dull, kind of everyday sort of like looking in on them that The Wind Rises does. So it's like dull and slow meets little children. And yes, there are obviously some parts in it that are very cute and charming and good, but I really think that this movie would have been better as a short, like the stuff you see before the Pixar movies. It would have been better as a short than a full-length movie, in my opinion. This is kind of like trying to make a full-length feature out of Piper. Like, you can do it, but why? I feel like there's more charm in keeping it brief and not having to like deal with everything. The best part of the movie for me was the end, so mild spoilers ahead. Satsuki and Mei get into a bit of an argument when they find out that their mom can't come home from the hospital, and they both get really upset, and Satsuki yells at Mei about something, and Mei tries to run to the hospital, but she's like 4, so of course she gets lost. And then Satsuki is like running all over the countryside, which, what a track star she is. She's running all over the place to try to find her, and she ends up going to Totoro and asking for Totoro's help. And there is this very cute sequence where the girls meet up and they, reconcile, and then they go and they look in on their mom, and it's very cute. And it kind of does end a little bit abruptly, in my opinion, but not in like a bad way, because again, this is a movie for younger kids, so there's not really much else you can do after the main conflict, which is Mei running away, is resolved. So, the best part of the movie, at least like, they do have 2 sisters voicing Satsuki and Mei. It's Elle and Dakota Fanning. And then you also have Superman and Ursula. That is Tim Daly and Pat Carroll, respectively. They are voicing. Tim Daly is the dad, and Pat Carroll is one of the neighbors. So, I mean, it's a pretty good voice cast, but it's mostly the sisters talking and Totoro, who just kind of growls and doesn't really make a lot of noise or talk. So, I don't feel like it's worse than Lupin the Third, because the animation's better. I think it is for younger audiences, so I guess I can't be like, the plot's better. But I don't know. I feel like I had more fun with this movie, marginally more fun with My Neighbor Totoro. And I love like the concepts and the character designs for all the forest spirits and creatures and everything. So I gotta give it props for that, at least. I would probably put it on the same ranking as like Castle in the Sky, where it's like you can watch it, but there are better Miyazaki movies out there. So I guess if you have like a 4-year-old who's really bored, they can watch My Neighbor Totoro and they would probably be entertained. You, on the other hand, might not be. I mean, again, it's cute, but I think it would have been better as a short film instead of a full-length movie. So, My Neighbor Totoro, I'm going to give it a B-. Because, again, I think it was a little bit better than Lupin the Third, The Castle of Cagliostro, but I wouldn't say it's better than Castle in the Sky or any of the other Miyazaki movies I've watched so far. So that's enough from me, and hope you all had fun at your movie this week. And I will talk to you next time when I review Princess Mononoke. We've only got 2 left. It's just Princess Mononoke and Howl's Moving Castle. So I will talk to you next time. Bye.
Incorrect. My Neighbor Totoro, I just watched like 3 weeks ago, and I still really enjoyed it. But it doesn't really have a plot. She's right.
I mean, I haven't watched them in a while, so I can't make a comment. But I will say, I don't think Ponyo's for babies. Brad is the monster that thinks it's just for babies.
I think the trailer for Ponyo is for babies.
But the movie itself is fine.
Oh, I didn't see the movie
you
itself.
Didn't see the movie,
No.
It is a movie for children, yes, but it is adorable, and I would show it to my nephew.
I mean, it's for
so
everybody,
maybe it is for
but
babies.
it is about children.
Oh, God.
It looked like it was for babies.
It's a movie for children. It's a movie for children, guys.
How to Train Your Dragon's for children.
Toy Story.
Fucking badass.
Toy Story 3 is for children.
Man,
Up is for children.
Wow.
It is.
Anyway, that was really good.
There's a talking dog in Up.
Thanks, Corinne.
Yeah, don't forget to check out our articles on the website.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's posting a lot.
They've been really good.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, moving right along, how about we do...
Around Town?
How about we do Around Town?
Hey, film buddies, follow me around Denver.
Brad's going around town. Dun, dun.
Yeah, so the drive-in, I believe, is still just doing Toy Story 4, Godzilla, and Aladdin.
Right on. It's been a solid lineup for them, though. I saw one of their posts saying they sold out.
Yeah, they're sold out this Saturday,
Wow.
so
there you go.
good for them.
Power of the drive-in, guys. Power of the drive-in.
Godzilla at the drive-in would be cool.
Dude, it would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I should go do that.
Then you get to hear that cool Brer McCreary and song version of the. I just found out. I didn't realize it was a cover of a song by Blue Oyster Cult, but it's like Go Go Godzilla. It's a great song. Their version of it's great.
Huh.
And, of course, the Esquire Midnights are back, and July 12th and 13th, they're showing Blazing Saddles, which is a movie that premiered at the Esquire in 1974.
Hell yeah.
That's cool.
So
yeah.
They're celebrating that.
Yeah.
Man.
Mel Brooks' Western classic. Go check it out.
Yeah. And
Hashtag Go Mel Brooks.
Jumping ahead, July 19th and 20th, they're going to do Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Hell yeah.
So
Hell
definitely
yeah.
going to be there for that.
Cool.
Yeah. That's what's going on around town.
Hey, did you guys know today is Billy Campbell's birthday?
Did you send him something?
Well, no. I mean, he's busy making that sequel to The Rocketeer.
Is he? Really?
I wish I could live in your world for a minute.
You guys still think that's happening, right?
Is it something that's just happening in your mind?
Yeah, Disney said they were going to make a sequel, guys.
You know what? Anything is possible, because did you hear they're making a Venom movie with Tom Hardy?
God damn it.
I think they're making a Preacher TV show. To come out eventually.
They did. It was okay.
Okay?
It was okay.
Okay.
Brett, is that it?
That's it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Cool. This week, here's what's coming out on Blu-ray. DVD releases and Blu-rays.
Some interesting titles.
This the 4K release of Pet Sematary, the remake, is out this week.
You will find out if Dead is better.
There's steelbooks, there's box sets with the original,
2-packs,
yeah,
all that stuff,
all kinds of stuff. There's also the Robert Pattinson sci-fi movie High Life,
which I saw.
Was it good?
It was good.
Cool.
Well, he's good in it. I don't know. I still don't know yet how I feel about the film itself. I think it's very interesting as a horror sci-fi thing, but
cool.
There are moments in it that are laggy, but
okay.
It's Claire Denis, so
interesting.
It is. Yes,
okay.
It is worth that kind of viewing. Yes.
Cool. From Kino Lorber this week is a Godard film called Alphaville.
Mm-hmm.
So you can pick that up.
Hell yeah.
Is this the final? Oh, no. Sorry. This is the complete series of Gotham is out on Blu-ray this week.
Mm-hmm.
So you can check that out. I watched a YouTube video explaining the weird story of their version of the Joker and why it's so fucked up and backwards. That's fascinating. Awful, but fascinating.
It's a wild show. Started out trying to be serious and faithful, and it went off the rails real quick.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The long story short is that they weren't given the rights to use the Joker, so they just wrote in a character who was the Joker but never has that name, and it's so ass backwards. And then that became the show. Was oh shit, people are only watching to see this thing we can't do. Anyway,
Zach, what do you think of The Room? It's fascinating. Awful, but fascinating.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the 5th season yet, but I haven't seen anything to suggest that, as they were crashing and burning into the series finale, they still didn't give Jim Gordon his mustache. Even though they jump ahead in time.
The only thing you wanted?
I was like, why not? He doesn't have to.
Yeah.
He's a young Jim Gordon, but
right.
As far as iconic homages to everything, is
a weird thing.
They wouldn't give them the rights to the Joker, but that DC label is all over that goddamn box set.
Oh yeah. The season 4 of The Magicians is out on Blu-ray this week. So if you were at that panel at Denver Comic-Con, you can pick that up.
Mm-hmm.
The IMAX film Space Station is out in 4K this week, which is a cool one.
Sequel to Gas Station.
I'm just gonna punch
pull
you.
his plug.
There's a lot of NASA stuff.
Did you
lately.
miss me?
It's because there's also a Blu-ray of NASA Journey Through Space, which is a Mill Creek production, and then there's also the PBS series. I think it's a series. Yeah, there's a mini-series called Chasing the Moon.
Yep. It's an American
all
Experience.
Of those are out on Blu-ray right now. There's also from Shout Factory this week is a release of Silent Hill.
Is that Scream Factories? Yeah.
Yes,
I've never seen
Shout Factory. Same thing.
I've never seen Silent Hill, and I've never played the game. So
I obviously haven't either. There's a lot of cleavage on this cover for a horror, and not sexy cleavage, just weird horror ladies, and then big boobs.
Yeah,
it's really weird.
It's kind of like in one of the segments in
and
that
then Pyramid Head.
Yeah, no, it's weird.
It's a weird cover.
That's not the only thing Shout's putting out.
Similarly weird this week, Universal's putting out a 4K release of Hulk. Just Hulk. Ang Lee's Hulk.
I heard a podcast recently that made me want to rewatch it.
Yeah. Oh no, I've been interested.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway,
anything
Hulk.
Ang Lee can be interesting.
There's a steelbook version of Mothra out this week as well.
Yes.
So you can check out.
Not Gamera. Gamera's friend to children. This is Mothra,
right.
Mightiest monster of all creation.
Shoot. I may have accidentally closed. Oh no, I didn't. I'm saving the other one. Actually, no, we'll do it next. Also from Shout Factory, This Island Earth.
Without MST3K commentary,
yeah, just regular ass This Island Earth.
Yeah, because it is a sci-fi classic in spite of...
There's people that hate that they did that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's because that movie, there are people who really love that movie. But
and
I also really love the MST3K version of that movie.
Oh yeah,
So I can have both.
it's fun. I mean,
I'm sure there's people out there who are big fans of Mitchell. Never met one, but
and it's unlikely you're going to in your lifetime.
They should when MST3K does movies like that, they should do a non-commentary track over the movie.
They
So
should.
you,
well,
you
they
can just
edit-
watch the regular.
back in the day because they were doing it for TV. They would actually edit the movie down.
Well, that was
because
the
they would
movie,
edit out
though.
the
Well,
shitty
the
version.
movie,
Oh, you're right.
the movie got whittled down even more because the
Yes.
studio kept diddling around with it, and then they would just promote barbed wire
Don't say
instead
diddle.
of the movie. I'm gonna call it that because it feels like the movie had
Don't
some
say
traumatic
diddle and talk
experiences.
about barbed wire at the same time.
No, exactly.
There's also a 4K release of Waterworld this week.
I've never seen Waterworld. I like that joke in The Simpsons where Milhouse puts 40 quarters into the Waterworld
There's
machine.
been a lot
then-
of releases of Waterworld recently because
Yeah.
Arrow did one.
I've seen it a few
and-
times.
There's
yeah.
an honest trailer for Waterworld that was floating about.
Man,
Like, it's
are
getting
they-
a lot of attention.
Is Kevin Costner making a comeback? Is that what's happening? He's
Wait, I thought he already did. Because we put him in
Waterworld his comeback.
No, we put him in the Superman movies.
Oh yeah, but then we
And
killed him with a
Draft Day.
tornado.
Remember Draft Day?
Like he didn't even get lasers to the face. Like he just got sucked up by a tornado he could have avoided.
Don't forget, before that, he held out his hand to stop Superman.
But wouldn't it have been better if Superman had just saved his dad? God damn it!
Because we needed that scene in Batman v Superman where he talks
stop.
about hero cake.
Just stop. Okay. Final thing from Kino this week is Tough Turf, where reputations are earned, starring Robert Downey Jr. and James Spader on Blu-ray.
And Kim Richards.
Definitely a movie that Ryan did not already own on Blu-ray. So there you go. Check out Tough Turf. These are some badass looking dudes. Look at just the attitude on James Spader's face.
They ain't fucking
with his,
around.
with his leather jacket. Man,
I tell you, they ain't messing around.
sheesh, reputations are getting earned.
There's also Little, that flick with Regina Hall and
Oh,
the
yeah.
gal from Blackish that
Shoot,
you
I
can
missed that.
check out.
Yeah. There's also Savage Beach.
Yes, Savage Beach.
There's
which
also
is,
Pet Shop of Horrors. That's pretty good, guys.
oh, is it?
Wait, where's that?
It's an anime.
No,
Oh,
I know,
okay.
but where is it? I didn't...
There it is.
Oh, because this is the one you were talking about.
Yeah, I just pre-ordered it.
Ooh, fucking A, nice. Well, you are forgetting one thing, Mr. James.
What?
Warner Archive is putting out a actually really good Clint Eastwood movie called Bronco Billy, which is about a Clint Eastwood plays a guy who abandons his humdrum life and opens a rodeo, and it's charming.
Cool.
Yeah, he does sing in it.
There's a Kino release of of Peter Pan from 1924.
Yes.
We could just read all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Or we could move on
Let's move on.
Buster
to
Keaton
what
collection.
we've been watching.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Brad, what have you been watching this week? Or lately?
Yeah, I got a couple things.
How you doing?
We were talking about earlier. Stranger Things 3 dropped.
Yeah. Season 3.
Season 3.
You finished it.
And I finished it twice.
Oh, my goodness.
It's only at 8 episodes.
Yeah.
But they're all, almost an hour long each.
Yeah.
And it's talk about time travel.
Fucking good.
It's more action packed than previous seasons, I feel like.
Yeah.
And we had a year off, right, between this one and the last one.
Yeah, it was like a year and a half because it was Halloween 2 years ago, or almost 2 years, I should say.
Yeah. The first
Yeah.
season was 2016, right? Or 2017.
Something like that.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think 2016, and then they rushed it was like early 2016, then 2017 October, and then it's been a year and a half, almost 2 years. Yeah.
I only bring up stuff like that is because the little girl who tries to grift the ice cream shop for ice cream,
Yes.
I thought was a new character, and
Lucas's
then
sister. Yeah.
it's Lucas's sister. So that's how removed I'd been from Stranger Things.
Well,
I'd
she
forgotten
was
things.
so. I think she's barely in the first season, if at all, and then in the second season, she's just got a couple little scenes.
Yeah.
Like they really took that character and were like, because she's so memorable in season 2 in her couple of little
Yeah.
scenes that I think they want to run with her. But she's also grown up maybe the most out of everybody. So yeah.
Yeah, but overall, it's cool. It's more action packed, and they kind of break the kids apart to kind of. Everyone kind of goes on their own mystery. So there's kind of 3 different stories going on at the same time with Joyce and Hopper, and then like Dustin and Steve. have their own thing going at the mall with a new character.
Yeah, I love that character.
And then,
the main rest of the kids are like Mike, Elle, Max, Lucas, Will have their own thing going on, and they get split up and back together,
and they're fractured between themselves too. Yeah, so
and there's like real good character stuff going on in those scenes too. Like the first couple episodes, there is a Stranger Things happening in the background, but the first couple episodes are a lot of just like going to the pool, going to the mall,
getting reacquainted with these characters.
Like letting them spend time together and having them have normal like teenager problems.
And Nancy, she's got her own story too.
Oh yes,
so there's like
Nancy,
5 stories going on, and they all have a purpose because they eventually connect.
There's some really
and
fun
all the
moments.
threads get pulled together at the end.
There's some really fun moments when you start knowing like, oh, that's how these two things are going to tie together. The one character who ends up being the daughter of that other guy, you know who I'm talking about? When that moment happens, and I'm like, oh, that's how those two stories are going to come together. Oh, my goodness, because these people are looking for her, and these people work for that douche. Some great episodes, really memorable, and a little less meandery than maybe season 2 was, and less...
bit less
generic.
Mystery, because I feel like everything's fairly straightforward. I mean, you can kind of see which
who the
stories are going
villain
to
is.
connect together. Yeah,
they're using very familiar tropes from Stephen King kind of stories you've seen before,
and tons of stuff from the 80s. Like there's Back to the Future stuff. There's Day of the Dead.
Mm-hmm. Other things we can't mention because it would be spoilery for us to say it was a reference.
And they're not even references. They're aping those like elements from those things and like regurgitating them into Stranger Things season 3,
and almost doing them better. I mean, I feel like the
like
one
there's
we
a Terminator
talked about,
2 reference. Like that's not even an 80s thing.
Yes, the Terminator reference is great.
Yeah. So all these, it's just a big nostalgia.
Yeah.
And
done really, really well.
Treat. Yeah.
Done in a way where it's really earned. So it's like the nostalgia stuff is a spice on top of something really good because the character stuff is great, the action is great.
Oh man, Jaws also because Carrie Elways.
Dude, and Carrie Elways, the further into the episode goes or into the series, when he drops his nice guy voice is what I should say, which I don't think is really a spoiler. I almost stopped being able to recognize him. Like he's doing such good work in that show. And everybody is like the girl who's playing Max is quickly becoming one of my favorite characters in the show. It's really wonderful.
And seeing 11 like branch out more because she's not just like a quiet character. Yes. She's learning how to just be a normal teen girl.
Season 2 like retreads a lot of the same stuff as season 1 sometimes, and this one because they used a very familiar but really good trope for the villain, which I won't say too much, but is a thing where you can have that villain be super evil, but also weak and vulnerable in a great way. It's a thing that happens a lot in Stephen King novels. Like because they did that and they set up that villain so quick, it allows the show to just kind of hum along and focus on those characters and these mysteries in a much better way than season 2 does. Because season 2 spends a lot of time setting up like the big shadow octopus. I don't know. We gotta close a gate. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. There's a
I said something similar about season 2. I was like, it felt like it was kind of just season 1 again, but because even like they use Will to get captured again.
Yeah. But in season 2, like the villain is more ethereal and less interesting, but bigger and badder.
But it had Sean Astin in it, and it was adorable until he goes.
Yeah.
He's a superhero.
He is Anyway, season 3 is great.
Okay,
Everyone
don't say anything.
Don't
say anything further because I told you off mic that I have to do
you watched it. Yeah.
No, I have watched it. But I need to revisit seasons 1 and 2 before I go into 3.
Sure.
So I appreciate you being cautious with the spoilers,
and it's just
because all I heard was Thing going into Thing
because it's just so fun for people to watch. Like I don't want to ruin it for anybody.
Yeah. And the music budget, wow,
holy shit!
I think the first 30 minutes of episode 1 has like 80 songs in it. And they're not full songs; they're just like little snippets, but
enough to break a bank.
It's expensive.
So good.
Yeah.
Like
But
Wonder Years level.
There's Weird Al and Huey Lewis and
Dan Lauria.
It took me a second when I realized it was the Weird Al version and not. I was like, this is great. I'm glad he made some money on this. Yeah, so good.
Well, you just made the upcoming week for me sound like a lot of enjoyment and fun.
Oh, you'll have a good time.
But like I say, I gotta revisit the first two, and I really remember season 2 a lot because I liked Sean Astin in it a lot.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So but anyway,
that's good.
So I also got suckered into watching Endgame again for the 13th time, which breaks my record. So there's that. But it was the bonus edition. I saw it at the Alamo,
right?
And I unfortunately have to say, like, don't go see it if you want to watch the bonus stuff because it's pretty disappointing.
Oh yeah,
yeah. The movie's still great.
Yeah.
But it's pretty disappointing to like sit there for 3 hours being like, oh boy, we're gonna see some extra cool stuff, and it starts. The first thing you see is a tribute to Stan Lee, which is nice, but it feels very much like we will probably be able to see that forever on the Blu-ray.
Sure.
Because it even has like that copyright thing at the end. When it goes to black. Then the next thing you get to see is the deleted scene of the unrendered Hulk saving a bunch of people in a satellite dish, jumping off a building.
Wait, is it unrendered?
He's unrendered, so it's like
no.
It's like a PlayStation version of the Hulk.
Oh, that's
PSX
terrible.
version. Yeah, maybe PlayStation 2.
But still.
So let me ask a question then. Disney has all the money in the world to buy Fox, but they can't render the Hulk for a deleted
it's
scene.
because it was a last minute thing.
No.
They should have re-released the movie in the fall. Like rushing it before Spider-Man was the wrong thing to do.
I know.
They should
they're
have
just chasing their record.
Yeah, but they should have chased the record in October or September. Like trying to get it out before Spider-Man was a mistake.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's that, and that's probably a scene that, if it was in the movie, it would probably have been right before the Hulk. Like they returned to the Hulk at the diner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wait, is it not edited into the film? It's just at the beginning?
It's you watch the 3 hours of the regular film, and actually, one thing I will say, I felt like the opening when Tony Stark is giving his message to Pepper Potts on his helmet.
Yeah.
I felt like they changed the line, but that would not make sense because if nothing else in the movie changed.
Yeah.
I thought they used a different cut of that, but anyway. But yeah, the Hulk lead scene is like you watch the Stan Lee thing, and then it shows you this the Russos come on in between each and say like, a reason, we can't have everything in the movie, so we felt like this was worth cutting, and yeah, hell yeah, it was worth cutting because you can just, Ant-Man could just say like brain bigger than his, and then cut to the diner instead of like seeing the Hulk saves people from a burning building.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then you save a ton of money on rendering the Hulk. So. Until you put it back in the movie 3 months later.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then the last thing after that is literally the opening scene from Far From Home, where Maria and Nick are in the desert, and then Mysterio shows up and says, you shouldn't be here or whatever.
Oh, and was that supposed to be like the stinger theoretically?
No.
Or was it just? It was just they put it in there as a stinger to tease Far From Home. It wasn't like it was never intended to be in the movie.
Yeah,
I mean, hypothetically, if Endgame had a like, I can't remember the term right now.
A stinger?
Not a stinger. What do we usually call him?
A stinger?
Mid-credit?
Like a mid-credits scene, bonus scene. That probably would have been it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway,
a tease for the next film. Yeah.
Yeah, like they do. Yeah. So yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So Avengers Endgame bonus edition.
It didn't end up working.
I know. So. If they'd released it in September, they would have gotten that extra $16 million.
I know.
Like,
they might
it's
still
so close.
They might still re-release it to push RDJ in an Oscar push. So
sure,
which I'm all for, even though those awards are
whatever. Yeah,
but so I also watched a documentary called documentary/narrative called "Framing John DeLorean."
Okay.
Apparently,
was he framed?
It has two meanings. Like he was, I guess people within his circle would say he was framed, but it's also like because it's a bit of a biopic. It's like framing his life.
Sure. Okay.
And his personality, and yeah, it's starring. Sometimes it's starring Alec Baldwin.
Sometimes starring Alec Baldwin.
Because it's an interesting thing.
Saturday Night Live, sometimes starring Alec Baldwin.
I guess that's funny. Yeah. So, I guess for years, like even since the 80s, Hollywood has been trying to make a biopic of John DeLorean's life because it is very fantastical.
Yeah.
You got this guy who worked at General Motors for years, created the GTO at Pontiac when Pontiac was a car for the elderly.
Yeah.
So increased sales tremendously, and then they wanted to, you wanted to like branch out more, but GM still wanted to be very safe in their advertising and what they built. So he was like, screw it, I'm going to go start my own car company. So he took like one of their lead designers and went off to make DeLorean Motor Company. I think the guy's name was Bill Mitchell. Shoot.
Billy Mitchell.
Yeah. Anyway,
seller of America's best hot sauce.
That is the guy who really designed the DeLorean.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
DeLorean was more of the face of the company and like the energy.
So he's like stockholders and stuff.
I wonder how he got that energy.
Well, see, that's a bit of a
cocaine.
Nah, maybe. So anyway, during that whole period, he's starting to live the lavish lifestyle. He's getting tons of plastic surgery. He's living in California, possibly doing cocaine. I don't know. But the thing, like I think it's been misrepresented. He wasn't really busted for doing cocaine.
No.
What happened was the DeLorean Motor Company was like right out of the gate awesome. They were getting investors. It was great. And then, interest waned and production problems. Like they tried to build the DeLorean in, what country was it? Ireland. And this is a time when there's tons of strife and war going on over there. But it was really cheap to build a facility out there. So that's why they did it there. And that complicated things. And eventually, money was tight. So he decided to get in cahoots with some bad people and try to make some money off selling some cocaine. Unfortunately, those people were the FBI. So he got suckered into trying to deal cocaine. And then, he went to trial, and then he got off on it initially because I guess something about the investigation was improperly done.
Yeah.
So the jury let him go. But that whole controversy destroyed his marriage. His fortune was wiped out. So in the documentary, you see his kids. They're kind of living his son kind of lives in like a 1-bedroom apartment, and like isn't doing well.
Mm-hmm.
And then the before the whole cocaine thing happened, the guy who designed the DeLorean, John DeLorean, started to work with a guy who worked for what was the company? Some other like foreign sports car company. And then kind of got pushed out. So he was like his best bud. But Bill Mitchell could see like there was something shady going on with the numbers, and he was like, I'm out. And then it turns out that there's like $17 million like embezzled into this separate company.
Sheesh.
And that's why he went back to trial, is because the IRS or the FBI found out that he was like, there's like this other company called GDP or something company, and it was, there's this missing $17 million or something. And he died in 2005 of a heart attack. But anyway, so there's that. And then, so they're showing documentary footage and interviews with like the kids, and his partners. And then Alec Baldwin will come in and they'll do reenactments of scenes from his life. And then Alec Baldwin will talk about meeting John DeLorean and saying like, he wanted me to play him in a future movie of him, and that never happened. So it's kind of like a weird hybrid of a narrative biopic and a documentary,
which has been getting some traction as a genre push recently with that American Animals movie that MoviePass put out, which Henry says is really good. So it's not unheard of. But does Baldwin do well within it?
Yeah, I mean, the makeup's pretty good. He sort of like fairly looks enough like John DeLorean. I mean, that guy had tons of plastic surgery, so it was probably easy to mimic.
So you're saying they should have gotten Richard Chamberlain to do it instead?
I think the voices are a little too different, because I think Baldwin kind of sticks to his own, and DeLorean's is different. I can't do it. But yeah, it's interesting to see that guy's life. And then also the whole cocaine deal. I think Back to the Future came out a year later. So if he'd waited, if he just stuck with like losing money for a little bit longer, like the movie would come out and like generated more interest for DeLorean.
Oh,
and
yeah.
would have saved the company. So that's unfortunate. But hey.
Seriously.
Interesting enough to want to check out, or?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it to see. It's like on an indie run, so it's not easy to find, but it'll probably be on streaming, and I think it's worth checking out.
Cool.
Because that's an iconic car, and it's interesting to see like the man behind it, or the people behind it, because he's really more the face, and like it was his idea, but like his buddy made it work.
Yeah.
It's
the genius of that car is the way it looks, and he's not the guy who designed the tiny little window in the window and all.
Yeah.
I'm sure this has been talked about before, but in Back to the Future, the whole intention of using a DeLorean was because it was supposed to be a joke about DeLorean Car Company.
Well, but
no, right? Or
no,
am I wrong?
Marty makes fun of it as like a lame thing, partially because like the car had like a Volvo engine in it, so it was this big heavy stainless steel car with a regular engine in it, and so it was not the fastest car. But Doc Brown is like, yeah, but it looks cool.
if you're gonna time travel, you're gonna do it in style,
right? Like,
it also solves some problems because Bob Gale's in the documentary too, and because there's the gag of the people at the farmhouse thinking it looks like a spaceship.
Yeah,
they needed a car that looked like a spaceship.
Okay.
So.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I just remember there being some kind of behind the scenes where they were like, this. It was meant to be a joke to a degree, but it also served the purpose of it. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I think in the initial like Zemeckis and Bob Gale when they were talking about it, they're like, wouldn't it be because it was supposed to be a refrigerator.
Yeah.
In the first script, but they were joking like, we need. It would be easier if it was a car would solve a lot of our problems. Like, what if it was a DeLorean? Like, wait, no. What if it was a DeLorean?
Yeah, exactly. That's the story I heard. Okay, never mind. Yeah.
I also watched Alien again, and I'm only saying that because I swear, in the opening shot of the Nostromo, there's like this pan across like just random equipment stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Mr. Fusion on the wall.
Ooh.
I haven't had a chance to go back and look, but there's a Mr. Fusion. Obviously, it's not Mr. Fusion in the movie, but there's a device that looks like it came off the back of the DeLorean and it's just propped up on the wall. But that's Fox and Universal, so I don't know why they'd be sharing props.
Okay.
Are you looking?
Yes. You are correct.
Yes. Do you have it?
Yes.
Boom. Yeah, I knew it.
It is
and it still has the marking on it. So yeah.
It is totally... It's probably just the prop house.
Yeah, because that's 1979, and Back to the Future is 85, so...
So were they just doing an Alien homage, or...?
It might be that the Mr.
prop
Fusion
house
was taken from the Nostromo and put onto the DeLorean.
Oh,
that the prop house used it because it was so cool. Like, it's one of those things that some dude made. There is a documentary waiting to be made about Mr. Fusion, or at least like a YouTube video.
See, you say that, but I think that between the moment before Doc Brown comes back at the end of Back to the Future 1, Doc Brown had to fight a Xenomorph.
Oh, yeah.
And that is something I want to see, which is Christopher Lloyd fighting the Queen Alien.
The new Alien Back to the Future shared universe.
Oh, God. There's so many things you can do with this. And get Predator into the mix? Why not?
This is how much Doc Brown screwed up the timeline. He creates a destitute world of the future where they're mining on space colonies, and then the xenomorphs get...
Robots shoot out milk. Chest bursters happen.
In reality, it's like a coffee grinder, right? Like the original part is...
Yeah, because like the whole Mr. Fusion is based on Mr. Coffee.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a juicing thing.
If you look, it's next to the coffee pot in Alien. It's next to the coffee pot and like some little straws and stuff. So it is meant to be some kind of future coffee grinder,
or maybe like a juicing machine.
Yeah, but then the markings are all very similar. That's really interesting. Wow, good eye, Brad.
This is like room 238 level interrogation.
I was in the front row, so
yeah, this is definitely one of those things where it's like, yeah, the prop master or somebody did props on both movies. and thought that was a cool thing. Like, was really proud of it on the Nostromo, and he was like, "I'm going to use this again."
Mm-hmm.
You know, while I talk about the next thing, you should look up on IMDb who are the production designers or prop masters for each of those movies, and see if they did cross over.
Yeah.
So the last thing I saw was Yesterday, which is the
Danny
Boyle's Beatles movie.
Yeah. That looks fun.
And it's very. I was talking to someone. You know, they brought up like, I think it might be a movie just to market the Beatles catalog, and I was like, why would the Beatles need advertising? And I watched the movie, and wow, it is very much like, hey, check out all these great Beatles songs. We wrote a movie around it. So the main character, you know, it's kind of the typical musician who wants to be famous. You know, he starts out, his career's not going great, and then magical things happen, and then he goes on a rise that's very much like most musicians today, where they're discovered by a studio, they get marketing, they get glammed up, and then all the substance is ripped out of their songs, and they just create fluff.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he can't deal with it. But also, so the magic part is that there's like a blackout across the entire world, and he gets hit by a bus because all the street lights. He's riding his bike, and the street lights go out, and he gets hit by a bus.
Right.
Wakes up suddenly. No one on Earth knows who the Beatles are or is aware of their songs, but he remembers them. So he's able to co-opt their career and pretend that they are his songs, and obviously that's what gives his rise. And then the main part of the story that's not Beatles related is that his manager is Lily James, and he's unaware that she has feelings for him, and he constantly ignores her as they try to make his career happen.
None of this makes sense. It's Lily James.
What?
That doesn't make any
I
sense.
agree.
No one is.
How do you ignore her?
Yeah, exactly. Even like one of his buddies mentions early on in the movie.
Why are you ignoring Lily James?
He thinks they're boning, and she's like, no, not ever, not ever. Like we've never been. Yeah. So you're like, oh, clearly she's frustrated, and he's still oblivious, but because like he's ready to end his career, and like nothing's going right. And then it's not until the end of the movie that he figures out, oh my God, you know, this woman has been there for me this whole time. But the thing that doesn't work for me is like, there's no reason for him to suddenly make that turn, because, you know, his story is that his career is working out, and he's dealing with like Kate McKinnon, who's trying to ruin it. I mean, she's trying, like in her head, she's making him super successful with Ed Sheeran, but you know, that's not the musician he wants to be.
Right.
But then the movie ends with, you know, him trying to, like, she's already moved on now that he's, you know, not working with her anymore.
Yeah.
Not letting her be her manager, so she's moved on. And then he's, you know, like, oh, shoot, I had this girl who liked me, but that's never been an interest from him in the first place. It just feels like people have told him, like, oh, you should be dating this girl who likes you. Like, oh, I guess I will because people told me to do that. Like, I suddenly notice her because people are saying that she's not, like, into me. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So that's what doesn't work. But
do they solve the problem of the Beatles? Like, do they suddenly remember again?
So in the middle of the movie, there's like 3 other people who come forward. So that adds a mystery of like, oh, these people do remember, and they're going to ruin his career. Mm-hmm. But there's no explanation of like why they remember or why, because by the end of the movie, no one still, like, eventually he confesses that he stole these people, like John, Ringo, Paul,
George.
But he confesses that he stole them from a different universe.
No, he just says like, there's these 4 people, and I stole their but the rest of the world still doesn't know who those 4 people are. They just assume they're people, nobody. So the movie ends with those
2 of whom are dead.
Yeah, and also there was a 5th Beatle, so there's that.
True, right? There was a 5th Beatle.
So he never gets mentioned.
No, wait, that is not even close to this subject. The 5th Beatle.
There is a 5th Beatle.
Yeah, there was a Beatle before.
Yeah, no, I know, but he's not
Ringo.
part of the group that goes on to be the big success.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, yeah, there's no. I mean, I guess there doesn't have to be, but it's still weird. The movie ends with the whole thing not being cleared up, other than him just saying like, I stole these songs from 4 random people that you are not aware of and will never meet and never be. And he also meets John Lennon because who is still alive but old in the movie. So the people who do remember with him that there are Beatles songs, they're just grateful that he remembers them because they can't get them anywhere. And the fact that he's playing them is like, they're like, thank you for remembering. And we also did some investigating, and you should go to this address, and that's where he goes and meets John Lennon. But it's like it's just a scene so they can go. He can go talk to a lookalike.
But why don't you just? There's 2 of them alive. There's Ringo and Paul are still around. Get one of them to be the person at the end.
Yeah, valid.
Why do you recreate?
Maybe expensive. I don't know.
Oh, you know
they
what?
have better shit to do than this movie.
But it's probably
even Ringo.
But for the movie,
what's this? A script by Richard Curtis? Throw it in the garbage, Ringo.
They probably didn't because I imagine like having John Lennon on the screen because he is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that this fantastical event has happened is probably more impressive for it to be him.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Technically.
But the other weird thing is, so he goes on a talk show, the James Corden show,
and
then James Corden says, like, you know, we have something surprise for you. And then, you know, he's like, oh, like, what's going on? And some people claim to, the songs aren't yours. And then it cuts to, like, the feet of these 2 people walking out onto the show.
Yeah,
and
they showed that in the trailer.
And then it just dissolves to him, like, somewhere else later. I'm like, was it those 2? Like, what happened in that show? Like,
oh yeah, they're
show calling
the rest
him
of that
out,
scene?
and they don't show the rest of the scene.
That's weird.
And it's like I thought it was Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr because that would make sense.
Yeah, that's what the trailer made it look like.
But the more obvious thing would be that it was the 2 people that remembered the songs. But I'm just trying to watch that the result of the entire show that still goes on, like. Yeah. Did the audience just go like, "Oh, they're just joking around"? Like,
why would you take those people
are his songs.
seriously? Right? Like,
it's such a weird.
I want to watch this movie though. I mean, I like Richard Curtis his work. Like he did a movie called Pirate Radio that I think is really good. But
it's sweet and funny in places, but like Ryan's right. There's like weird Danny Boyle flourishes. Like they're walking on the beach just having a normal conversation, and then it's just a Dutch angle for some of it. Just because it's really interesting and like there's
because even Danny Boyle is bored.
Yeah, he's just like making it way more dynamic than it needs to be, and then it's edited a lot. Like there's so many cuts all the time. No one's just kind of like sitting in a shot for too long. So yeah, did you look up the?
I did. So I have so the set decorations None of the set decoration people are the same. None of the like production designers are the same. Nothing appears to be the same. What I will tell you is the Mr. Fusion is based off of a Krups coffee grinder. The one in Alien appears to just be the Krups coffee grinder mounted to the wall. If you look, what we thought was the Mr. Fusion like logo and stuff is not actually. It's actually just the way that coffee grinder looked. So. While they fashioned it after the Krups coffee grinder, it isn't the same piece. It just looks cool to both set decoration people.
I'm regretting not filming that and then putting the C-SPAN logo at the bottom of the frame.
So it's just a coincidence that they both took homemade items.
It's just a coincidence because Krups made a really cool futuristic-looking coffee grinder, and a coffee grinder is basically what they wanted the Mr. Fusion to be. So yeah, it's a different thing.
But yesterday doesn't have a Mr. Fusion.
No.
What you're telling me? Okay, cool.
No.
Cool.
If it does, I didn't see it.
Did you watch anything else recently, Red?
That's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Zach?
Not a whole lot. I rewatched Psycho for the 3rd time this year, but this time I did it in prep for...
That's psychotic.
Boo! Go the fuck home.
I stand by it.
No,
Screw
you
you.
no, you don't. You don't want to do that. No, I rewatched it. The third time I've watched it this year. It's one of my favorite films of all time. But I had to rewatch it because the recent episode of the Shamley Silhouette that I recorded today is all about Psycho and the things it changed about certain aspects of cinema, even as far as movie going. And you'll be able to hear that in 2 weeks. For now, you can hear the latest episode, which has Aaron Pendergast talking about Rear Window. So you can check it out. But yeah, Psycho, still an amazing flick. It's pretty wonderful. There's different angles that I had in my discussion that are fun to think about within the context of rewatching it. So I rewatched Nightmare Cinema again. That's proving to be one of my favorite movies of the year this so far. Cool. It's a like I said last week, it's a fun anthology flick. There's not a bad one in the bunch whatsoever. I like breaking down each individual. I've been breaking down each individual story and kind of just seeing how they're able to do what they do on the budget that they have, because they don't really have a big budget. They didn't have a big budget for this film. So the things they were able to accomplish while restrained in that low budget is pretty inspiring. And obviously you do have people like K&B coming in and helping them out, but still, like, there's other aspects to it and the way they're able to get around certain things. So, like I say, really good flick. I rewatched the first Blade at work.
I've been thinking about doing that soon.
You should do it. It's
okay.
fun.
Okay.
It's a fun movie.
It's been a very long time.
But here's the thing. So like right after it, I got halfway through Blade 2, which I hadn't watched in a while either. The difference between the two of them is that in Blade 2, Blade has a personality, and in the first one, Blade has no personality. Chris Christopherson has the personality, and Blade is angry.
Who plays Blade in the
Wesley
first
Snipes.
one? Who plays Blade in the second one?
Wesley Snipes.
I don't believe you.
No, I'm pretty sure that it's Guillermo del Toro coming in and saying, "Wesley, have some fun. You are a monster."
Wesley, how about try a little? Because if you try, I'll W-2 you and pay your taxes for you.
That's not to say that he's bad in the first one. It's just that there's a clear difference between, like, Blade's on a mission in the first one, and the second one, he's not expecting to be on a mission, so he's a little looser. Like, it seems like he's having more fun. And also, he solves the issue at the end of the first one, which is, oh, my mother was bitten by a vampire, and it turned out to be, what's Stephen
Donald Logue.
Stephen Dorff. Yeah, Stephen Dorff bit my mom, and which is a real world problem as well as a vampire world problem. So he solves that issue in the first film. So in the second one, all he has to do is save Chris Christopherson from his fate from the first film, and then after that, it turns into that whole adventure where they're off to stop the super vampires with the regular vampires. And Ron Perlman's in that one, and he's fun. But the first one's fun. Like, the only issue that I really had with the film was the CGI absolutely does not hold up whatsoever. But that first scene, that opening scene in the club with the blood dripping out of the fountains, as if it was a rave thing, and then having Blade come in, like, it's visually interesting, and it's surprising that this is technically the first, like, Marvel movie that Stan Lee executive produced it, puts his name on, and just seeing that, like, Marvel movies as we know it get their start in a vampire movie, and it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
And Chris Christopherson's great in it. He's just bitter and angry and smokes a lot. So yeah, those were fun. I rewatched Monster Squad. And I hadn't watched it in a while.
It's always good.
It's wonderful. One of my things about the film that I loved was, like, the kid interactions and whatnot, but I'm also learning to love the adult interactions and whatnot. And what my new favorite joke in the movie, hands down, is after they've gone into the scary German guy's house, and it's when they cut to him and he goes, "All right, children, it's your last chance," and he holds up a big knife, and then it cuts to a big pie, and he goes, "For some pie." I fell back in my chair laughing. It's a great cut, and it's a great moment by Black and Decker that I enjoy. And also Sean's little sister saying, "Come on, you chicken shit." Yeah, it's, like I say, it's a fun flick. Everybody should watch it. I really want to see that documentary, Wolfman's Got Nards, now, and I can't find it anywhere because it still hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
So Ryan's the only one who's seen it, that lucky bastard. And then don't think there's anything else that I was able to see. I watched a lot of Hitchcock stuff and like behind the scenes stuff, and that was fun.
Cool.
So yeah, that's all I watched this week.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've just got a handful of things I want to fly through that I've watched in the last several weeks since Baby. I got a chance. There was a night we were surfing around on the Amazon box looking at what movies were for free, and one of them was a Tom Hanks film I'd never seen called The Burbs. And so Brooks and I watched The Burbs.
And you loved it and declared it the best picture of 1989.
No, that's a weird movie.
You mean a weird, great movie.
It's a lot. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun.
You could stop right there.
Yeah, it's fun and it's fine. I don't know, like, if I'd seen it when I was, like, 15, I don't know that I would have appreciated it more. It's just one of those things that, like, I think if you saw it at the right time, probably struck you as, like, and it didn't disturb you, probably would have struck you as, like, a really funny thing. But then if you just watch it now for the first time, you're going to watch it and go, like, how the fuck did this get made? And why did it get made?
Because
like,
Joe Dante, and he's awesome.
But it's just weird. There's some really great stuff in it. There were definitely some times I really laughed. It's very meandery. It's like, yeah. Anyway,
did you? Because I when I rewatched it prior to '89 Film Explosion, that was one of the. It was. I really noticed how much Looney Tunes is in it in terms of like the visual acumen and some of the gags they pull off visually.
There's that one shot where they like, force zoom in on the guys screaming that is like really slapsticky.
I think the Barbecue Nightmare is also one too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But those things are so out of left field when they happen at the same time that it's like almost off-putting. Here, let me look really quick.
See, this makes me think you won't like Gremlins then.
No, there is no way that The Burbs would have kicked anything off of my 1989 list.
No, I don't. I don't imagine so.
Yeah.
But that makes me think that maybe you won't like Gremlins and Gremlins 2 because, well, you may like Gremlins 1. Gremlins 2, it has a very like. My conclusion about Joe Dante is that he has his cartoonish nature combined with a bit of a subversive humor, that's what you're getting. And with The Burbs, I think I love the film, and I think that one of the reasons I love that is for that reason. It's the same I love most of his films. There's very few films he's gotten to do where it's very straightforward and doesn't have either a true horror element or a true comedy element to it. But he, like I say, he's one of those directors I really love watching nowadays because he's good to like watch to relax. Well, The Howling maybe not. Like that one I like to watch like knowing I'm going to watch a scary movie tonight.
Yeah. So anyway, The Burbs is fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I totally understand why my mom saw the trailer and then watched that movie and said, "What a god awful piece of shit." So I also got a chance to watch, or at least sort of start watching, a Smithsonian series called Apollo's Moonshot, which it's on the Smithsonian Channel, which of course I don't have because who has cable? But for like $4, you can buy the first season on Amazon. So I bought the first season. There's only 3 episodes out so far on Amazon, but it's supposed to be 5 episodes in a season.
It's called Apollo's Moonshot?
Apollo's Moonshot. And so each episode covers... They sort of break the Apollo missions into a couple... into those 5 episodes. So the first 3 are all leading up to... Like, the 3rd episode ends with Apollo 8. Or 9? No, just Apollo 8. And it's cool. It's one of those where like there's some stuff in there. The whole thing is all made by the Smithsonian. So a couple of things. They show you the actual capsule, your actual bits and like what they have in the Smithsonian that like, hey, you can go actually see like this is the actual capsule that John Glenn was in for a week and whatever. So you can see all of that stuff. It's also pretty much all interview footage and actual footage. There's a few times where they're talking about something, and so they'll do like a pretty crummy like CG reenactment of a thing, just because in order for you to understand what they're trying to explain, if you didn't know like what the Aegina was, there's only like one picture of the Aegina in space, so it's really hard for them to explain docking with the Aegina and why you would do it without like a reenactment.
Right.
But for the most part, it's all actual footage, which is really cool. And then a lot of either interviews with historians or audio of interviews with like the actual astronauts. Super cool and wicked cheap. So if you have Smithsonian, check it out, or just get it on Amazon.
The title feels weird, though.
It is Apollo Moonshot.
Like that sounds like it sounds like an exploitation film that's from the 70s that we haven't found until recently.
In the show, they will often use the phrase moonshot as if it's like this understood, like, oh, it's that time we moonshotted. We really shot all over the moon. Like but it's not a real thing. I don't know why.
Shots.
Yeah, it was very bizarre. But I think it's a good little documentary.
Mr. Data, do you want to take a moonshot?
I also the night before Brooks was induced, we went and saw Godzilla King of the Monsters.
And that didn't induce labor on its own?
No.
Okay.
The whole goal there was to get our minds off of the fact that we were having a kid the next morning. And for that, it's great. Actually, I would say Godzilla King of the Monsters, for me, was a fantastic good time in the theater. There's these silly bits with people in them, but all the parts where monsters are there
are great.
Are friggin' awesome. Like grin from ear to ear. Holy shit, I'm watching this and having a fantastic time. Wonderful. It is a shame. It is an absolute shame what they do to the mother character in that movie, and how like brilliant the twist is, and then how terribly ruined it is by the end of the movie. Like,
I found it confusing by the time we get to the last 30 minutes.
Yeah. No. Oh, yeah.
Because at that point, your focus is on Godzilla.
Right. Like, you are totally with it, and then Vera Farmiga twists, spoilers, and it's awesome. And you're like, holy fuck, this is a great, great twist. And then they totally chicken out at the end and make it some garbage. And I was like, God damn it. No, like, do not make this the family gets back together because we're No, she can just be wrong. Like, she just gets to be wrong. And she should have survived the movie wrong. And Millie Bobby Brown should have been mad at her for being wrong and trying to kill the whole planet. Like,
it
what?
It would have been consistent with the idea of this disaster movie where, like, lives are torn and views change. Like, there's something about, like... That could have been more dynamic.
Yeah, and it's a fair story. Like, it's a perfectly fine story. And then at the end when, like, no, her and Kyle Chandler have to, like, go find their daughter. And I'm like, no, come on, guys. Just, at this point, just cut out all the scenes with the people. Like, literally, you could have just told the story, and then once we get to the big fight at the end, just leave everything on the cutting room floor, let everybody fight, and no one would have noticed. Like, with those action scenes, no one's going to give a shit that the humans have disappeared from the film entirely.
You know how you make their story better is you have Kyle Chandler go, like, clear minds, clear heads, clear hearts.
That's not
let's go get that Godzilla. I know it's not the exact line, but you know
honestly,
what I mean.
They could have made the movie better by just making it Kyle Chandler and Millie Bobby Brown and Vera Farmiga are a family who lost a kid and they're just trying to survive the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it had just been a very straightforward, like, we're just trying to stay alive, and oops, there's Godzillas everywhere, and we keep cutting back and forth to the military's trying to fight Godzillas too, but then we just get to watch Godzilla's fight, and then we get to watch Millie Bobby Brown not get crushed by a building. That would be a fine movie. You didn't need so much stuff. If you try to have a cool twist, like, just stick to your guns. But it doesn't matter, because you just watched the movie for the Godzillas.
I actually really like Ken Watanabe's scene where he puts the bomb near Godzilla and
oh yeah.
It's not. I don't know if
we went to Godzilla's house in Atlantis. That was cool.
And, but here's the thing. I don't know if it works within the context of, like, Godzilla mythology, because, like, Henry would know more about that.
Don't give a shit.
But I like that notion of him doing that and staying there.
Yeah, Godzilla sleeps in Atlantis, and if we want to wake him up, we shoot a nuke into his teeth. Like,
yeah.
That's awesome. The movie's awesome. It's awesome. It's so good to see on the big screen with the big sound.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was well worth it.
As a music aficionado for film, I've been liking Bear McCreary the past 2 films that I've watched where he's done the score. I think this is Godzilla King of the Monsters has one of my favorite scores of a film this year.
Yeah, it was really good.
It's really good, and actually he's the saving grace, one of the saving graces of the Child's Play remake. And also, like I said earlier in the show, that cover song of that Blue Oyster Cult song at the end credits is fucking awesome. Because then it just leaves you out of the film on a high note after watching Godzilla defeat the shit out of King Ghidorah and then just taking his place as the king of the fucking monsters.
Yeah, it's great.
It's
I really
wonderful.
And gladly I will get one. We started watching through the X-Files again. Still in season 1. That show is cool.
Do you still believe?
It's been a long time. I actually never really watched through all of the X-Files. I started watching through it in college and then got bored and distracted.
I stopped after Fight for the Future. Oh wait, no, I went through up to the end of the original series.
I think even for this, I will probably watch. Like Brooks and I, well, we'll see. We're watching through it kind of slowly, but it's just a fun little popcorny thing to throw on.
I never saw the film I Want to Believe.
I never did
played
too.
our theater, and I've heard so many bad things that I've just stayed away from it.
Yeah. I also am making a diligent effort to watch through Star Trek Discovery again.
Woo!
I'm like 7 episodes into the first season now, which is twice as many episodes as I've ever watched before.
You make this sound like it's an arduous journey.
It's not always fun.
Okay.
The episode with so here's like my this will just sum up my relationship with Discovery. Episode ends. They show me the little trailer for next week. And then the next week's trailer is like, annoying blonde Jude is telling everybody we're stuck in a 30-minute time loop. Watch next week on All Access. And I look at that little trailer and I'm like, God, I can't roll my eyes hard enough at the fact that 4 episodes in, we've decided to already do a time loop thing. And then I watched that one, and it's a Harry Mudd episode, and it's actually quite wonderful.
What?
It's a wonderful little episode.
Who plays Harry Mudd?
Dwayne Wilson.
Oh, because he's in the first season, isn't he?
Oh no, this is the first season.
Oh, you're back in the first season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude,
I haven't watched.
It's hard enough to finish the first season.
Okay, I haven't watched I haven't watched any of it yet. So
so there's like these things it does, and I roll my eyes as hard as I can, but I just keep watching. And then there's times where it's really great. The episode right before that, mind-numbingly want to shit in my own mouth stupid. Like, the episode before that is this stupid one about Spock's dad dying on a ship somewhere so they can tell all of this garbage exposition.
Sarek dies?
Well, no, he doesn't actually die, but he is dying in a ship, and Michael has to go save him, and it's basically just a shitty excuse to tell a bunch of bad exposition about why the CBS forced them to make this main character Spock's sister. I watched the show and I could just see why Brian Fuller left, because it just feels like there's shit shoved in here that they just have to fucking get through.
I don't like that Brian Fuller's been disrespected by all 3 major networks.
He's probably hard to work with. At some point,
because he's probably
his
a genius.
It's also probably
Hannibal.
some of his fault.
Hannibal.
Dude, I know. Hey, you know how I know I'm right? Hannibal. So anyway, I'm getting through. Have you been watching season 2? Is it good?
No, I was going to wait for the Blu-ray.
Okay, all right.
I might pay for a month of CBS All Access just to catch up, because I heard season 2 is fantastic.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm doing this. But it's just rough.
If I learned anything from the Next Gen rewatch, sometimes it takes Star Trek a little bit to get off the ground.
That's what I'm thinking. But I also don't feel like this series is going to.
I don't want to hear it, James.
This isn't because the budget is low.
Yeah, it's like
that's not
one
what
of the most
I mean.
expensive series ever made.
Any Trek show has to find its footing at some point. Like
all the first seasons are.
The only reason the first original series season finds its footing right away is because it's a brand new concept.
But it didn't have to be this way.
And it's
everything they do that
I
happens
agree.
with this, it all feels like studio intervention.
Oh, I agree. We could have gone beyond Next Generation into like a different spread off from DS9 or Voyager. We could have done a lot of different things. We don't have to necessarily keep going back to the past with Star Trek. We probably should be going into the future.
And it's kind of a defeat that the Enterprise has to show up in the Discovery show to make it more interesting.
Right.
Like it should be. It should work on its own.
Especially when the Discovery is actually kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting up its own ass. Like, the whole Spore Drive thing is taxing on my brain.
I imagine,
but I just swallow it and move on.
Eventually, it's not going to work because it doesn't show up in the 24th century. So
fair. Yeah.
I think this ship's going to blow up somewhere.
Well, but then you could just tell yourself it's a Kelvin universe thing, and then
or it gets decommissioned at some point.
But why would it? Anyway, doesn't matter. Henry told me to go watch The Old Man and the Gun. I did. It's great. You should watch it. Moving on.
Wait. We're not going to talk about how that was supposed to be Robert Redford's last movie, and then he lied and was in Avengers Endgame?
I don't give a shit.
Okay.
He was in this movie. It was great. People should see it.
All right, wonderful.
It's really good. Stranger Things, cool, awesome. Did that. Everybody's talked about what they watched, talked about Blu-rays, talked about news. This week, we went and saw Spider-Man Far From Home. Zach, should people see Spider-Man Far From Home?
I've got a Peter tingle about this review. Yeah, I think you should. I actually, as an Endgame wrap-up, it's really fun, and it ties the story up with this MCU, this big 11-year-long experiment. As a Spider-Man film, though, what I appreciated is that it did some stuff that I wasn't appreciating in the last few Spider-Man movies up until we got Tom Holland. Mm-hmm. So there's certain, we'll get into it in the review, but there are things they do with the Spider-Man character and the relationships he has with people that I appreciated on this level that no one was able to get in, at the very least, the Mark Webb ones. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. And I think Jake Gyllenhaal is wonderful in this flick. He is a villain that is
spoilers
intriguing. Well, he's Mysterio. We know who Mysterio is.
I'm just saying.
The movie doesn't set that up.
The trailer does not set that up.
Okay. Well then,
and that's the mistake I made, man.
And then bleep me. But yeah, and like I say, it's Tom Holland being Spider-Man, so there's a lot of fun with it. And I actually think Jon Favreau is really good in this movie. Mm-hmm. And he delivers a great performance.
Is he bad in another movie?
No, but it's just like in terms of what he's had to
Swingers.
do.
I'm kidding.
Made his directorial debut. No, just in terms of the MCU, I don't think he's had a lot to do in terms of acting, rightfully so, because he's on the creative team. Yeah. But now he's removed from it, and he gets really good moments in this film to flesh out the Happy Hogan character.
He's a real character in this movie.
Yeah,
he's
a way
not
that
a real character in some of the other ones.
In a way,
the last one.
Yeah, in a way that he hasn't been before. So yeah, I would check this out. It's a wonderful flick.
Brad, should people go see Spider-Man: Far From Home, the movie?
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's the pacing is very unusual for any movie that I've ever seen. And surprisingly, there is a lot of action, but it's also light on action.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Like it's the action is the least interesting part of the film.
Yes.
Although the finale is spectacular.
Yes.
But everything leading up to that is fairly irrelevant. Like it's not what you're looking for. You're more invested in the characters, which is great.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So definitely go see it, and I can't wait to talk about spoiler parts.
Yeah. Do we think we should put Ryan's review in the spoilers?
Who cares what Ryan thinks about Spider-Man?
I'm thinking we play it after the trailer, just in case.
Just in case. We don't know what he's saying yet.
Yeah, so I would say that people should definitely go see Disney's Marvel's Spider-Man Far From Home. Yeah, I think it's great.
In association with Columbia
Pictures. It feels
Pictures.
very much like a promise or a fulfillment of, because it's a return to form in a lot of ways coming out of Endgame, where things are so big and complicated.
It's very much an epilogue.
There's so much canon to Endgame, and this is just a little fun Spider-Man movie that is just about these characters, that focuses on what Peter really wants and letting his character grow and have some fun. And while obviously all the stuff out of Endgame feeds into it, it's just a fun superhero movie that this is like the one that could just be, this could be your first superhero movie, right? You could go into this not having seen anything else, and you'd know just that one thing about, hey, somebody died, and they give you everything else you need, and then.
But then the scene on the ship though, with Happy, like without knowing,
would hold no weight.
Oh yeah. But it's not. The movie doesn't hinge on that as much. Yeah, it wouldn't hold as much weight. But I'm saying, in the way that there's so much baggage in a lot of the Marvel movies the last couple of years, this one has actually, I think, very little.
I agree.
I would disagree, but that's interesting that you see it that way.
I see where he's coming from, because we're not talking about like 500 characters. We're talking mainly about Tony.
Yeah, it's still in the time in the normal thing, but in the canon. But this feels like a one shot you could have picked up and read this little story and gone like, oh, cool. And yeah, you didn't know like, oh, okay, it's because this person just died and whatever. But you would have a lot of fun because the story that they're telling is fun on its own, and watching him with MJ and all that stuff. To me, it's them kind of making a point of, hey, just because we got huge doesn't mean that moving forward we can't tell the story that, yes, is still tied into the other stuff.
I was going to say, we need to get into spoilers, because there's tons of tie-ins to everything that's happened.
There is, yes. But I don't think I think the movie...
Like, Mysterio's really relevant. Like, his whole... Like, where he comes from is relevant to the Iron Man movies, so...
Totally. It doesn't dissuade that stuff. I just mean,
but you're right, you can tell a smaller story.
Yes, it's a smaller story that doesn't feel like it has the weight of the world sitting on it, the way that...
Or the universe.
It has only the stuff that's relevant to Peter. It's only his emotional weight.
Yep.
It's only... Like, that's what I mean. It's like, it's really just about him.
Yeah. And the stakes are incredibly low, and yet, when we talk about it going forward,
the stakes are high for him.
Stakes are high for him, and by the end of it, they... Well,
yes.
Let's play the trailer, please.
Anyway, yeah. So, everybody should go see this movie because it's great. Here's the trailer from Spider-Man Far From Home. Afterwards, we will start talking about it. We will spoil things. There are things you do not want spoiled for this movie. You have been warned.
Just play the trailer.
Everywhere I go, I see his face. I just really miss him.
Yeah, I miss him too. I don't think Tony would have done what he did if he didn't know that you were going to be here after he was gone.
You gonna be the next Iron Man now?
Well, no, I don't have time. I'm too busy doing your jobs.
What?
I'm kidding. Look, keep up the good work, because I am going on vacation.
Heads up. Nick Fury's calling you.
I don't really want to talk to Nick
Answer
Fury.
the phone.
Why?
Because if you don't talk to him, then I have to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. You sent Nick Fury to voicemail?
I gotta go.
You do not ghost Nick Fury.
What up, dorks? What's up? We're just talking about the trip. I'm here in St. Marco Polo. Oh, I think MJ really likes me.
That reminds me when I first fell in love. You're a very difficult person to contact, Spider-Man. This is Mr. Beck.
We could have used someone like you on my world.
Your world?
Beck is from Earth, just not ours. The snap to our hole in our dimension.
You're saying there's a multiverse?
We have a job to do, and you're coming with us.
There's gotta be someone else you can use. What about Thor?
Off-world.
Captain Marvel. Unavailable. But I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Bitch, please, you've been to space.
What do you want, Peter?
I want to go back on my trip with the girl who I really like and tell her how I feel. MJ, I
am Spider-Man.
No, of course I'm not.
I mean, it's kind of obvious.
You're right, you may not be ready, but this is my responsibility. Saving the world requires sacrifice. Sometimes people die.
Oh my God. I just always feel like I'm putting my friends in danger. The world needs the next Iron Man.
You going to step up or not?
I gotta get you guys out of here. Get on the jet.
Who are you?
I work with Spider-Man.
You work for Spider-Man?
I work with Spider-Man, not for Spider-Man. New plan.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. All of the stuff with him being sad that Tony is dead and this whole question of whether or not he is the new Iron Man is very much tied into like everything else in the story.
Should we do Ryan real quick?
Oh yeah. Real quick. Here's what Ryan thought about the movie.
Real Nerds Podcast. It is the hostess with the mostest calling in to review Spider-Man Far From Home. Sorry I could not be there. Sometimes real job gets in the way. But as you probably have guessed, I love this movie. Any movie that has, I hope we're in spoilers already, any movie that has Mysterio as the villain and they pull off the illusion is A-okay in my book. My favorite scene, hands down, is when Spider-Man has to fight Mysterio through using his spider sense, and he defeats him. And the scene before that where Mysterio is kind of making him hallucinate and using the drones and the projections to make Spider-Man fight him. It has a lot of iconic Spider-Man Mysterio moments in it that is supplied by the great John Romita from Amazing Spider-Man 66 and 67. It's just an awesome movie. The chemistry with the cast is great. You know, it tugs at your heartstrings at one point. And then, of course, a surprise at the end with J. Jonah Jameson making a triumphant return, played by the awesome J.K. Simmons. Just a few things I wanted to say. I know this is going to cut me off soon, and I'll go into more detail when I see all you guys next week. Thanks for keeping the show running while I'm out, and go see Spider-Man Far From Home. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Man, I can't believe Ryan hated this movie.
I thought it was weird
it
was weird for him to just like go full out assault on the color of the costumes in each individual scene as opposed to just accepting that it's a superhero.
I feel like making Batman his new favorite character is really
that seems like a stretch.
Yeah, like that's maybe too far. Like a bit of a reaction.
Yeah, I was really surprised by the racist comments, to be completely honest. Yeah.
Also, pissing on his copy of Spider-Man 3 was way too far.
A bit too much, yeah.
Yeah, we should probably just censor those.
Yeah. Anyway, it's really fun.
Yeah.
Mysterio looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every second he's on screen, it's just the coolest thing to look at.
I was impressed at how they made him more based in science. I'm not familiar with the comics, but it seemed like in the comics he was more magical.
No, he's more con man-y. Think like Scarecrow kind of thing. He's definitely smoke and mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is an illusion. It is always an illusion.
But tying it into like movie special effects, so he's wearing like a mocap suit and
the
stuff.
The mocap suit version of him at the end is awesome.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
So good.
But his whole reveal, I thought, was very like, well, we don't have a better way to do this, so we'll just do the villain exposition thing.
Yeah.
And it went on for way long, like really long.
Yes.
To where I was like, this feels lazy, but I'm not sure what else you could
but
do
Jake
without.
Gyllenhaal sells it really well.
I think they really had a chip on their shoulder about Vulture from the last movie, because that twist is so good that like the car scene in that movie is so friggin' good that I think for them they wanted to set this up and have it be that kind of a moment for people who don't know, so that way, like, oh man, here's this good new superhero Mysterio, and he's so helpful, and then like here's this maniacal laugh, you know, scene to reveal.
I liked the reveal visually though of the hologram breaking down, and then the reveal kind of coming slowly. I agree. I agree. The speech is heavy on Expo and really kind of
like this guy's in a place with all his friends talking about the plan that they already know. Like, it's just for the audience to hear.
They're proud of themselves, but given that the character they've created for Mysterio going forward from that scene, one, it makes sense for me to see it that way because he's a braggart, but two, Jake Gyllenhaal is really good in this movie and sells it just fine. He makes it entertaining to watch it.
He kind of goes. I mean, I still think that's a weird scene though, because he goes from, he goes from being really likable, and just a great character, to almost like a dash of Nightcrawler in there at the end. Not the superhero, but Nightcrawler the movie.
No, let's creep out Rene Russo Nightcrawler.
Unhinged. Like, I think the scene the scene where he's like testing out the hologram and he's like comically evil is way better. Like when you get that one, that's where you're like, oh man, I really like this. And so when it leads into that villain, his villain at the end fight scene, I think it's great.
I think that interpretation though feeds into the thread that they're spinning for Mysterio, which is oddly relevant, and it also, but it's a different type of Marvel villain, one that I didn't expect them to ever try to do, in terms of like an angle to take Mysterio on, but also even doing Mysterio, period. Because like I know very little about Mysterio other than the con man element. So I'm like, well, how do you weave it into a universe that's been so full of high stakes? And
I think the way they do it is really cool.
I agree.
I mean, the whole, that introduction of the elementals and all this stuff, like, and it makes for some cool action scenes. I think partially because he's so useless for a while, as he tries to fight them, especially like when he's trying to fight Hydro Man or the water elemental, whichever one it is, and like he shoots his webs and nothing happens, and you're like, yeah, man, Peter, you just can't do anything. You're useless right now.
I love that to hide his face, he puts on a jester's mask.
Yeah,
he's cute.
Yeah,
but he's not the only thing in this movie. There's also a Spider-Man.
Yes,
and I gotta say, like, I liked the way they handled personal interactions with Peter in this film. Even I loved how they did him in Homecoming, but this one, especially since we're taking the romantic angle up a notch to the MJ character too.
Yeah,
I think this thing does something that almost every Spider-Man movie I've seen has failed to do for me, which is make me want to watch a relationship flourish.
I would go so far as to say in the first movie, had no idea who Zendaya was. Found out she was important in some way. Assumed she was some kind of like Disney Channel star that people liked for some reason. Whatever. Thought she was fine, serviceable in the first movie.
She's fun.
I think she steals every scene she's in this movie.
Yeah,
like, I think she's incredible.
And I actually,
like, her awkward teenage character like is so well delivered, and you both love her, and there's nuance to it, and you understand like this weird tension. It's so good.
It actually works well with Homecoming because she's in the background or the periphery in Homecoming. Peter developing a crush on her from Homecoming, where she's in the periphery, to now, like, makes transitional sense. Like, it makes sense that he would develop a crush with her over time because they would have connected over like the stuff they have to do for after
this
school.
Year,
Yes, and that combined with the blip, and just like, but the way that they're interacting and how Peter's going about it, and there is something like. There's something charming about it in a way that hasn't been present in other Spider-Man movies whatsoever for me. Like, my biggest problem with the Garfield ones is that I don't like the approach to romance in either of those films whatsoever. No matter how much the imagery works well in Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Gwen Stacy, I don't feel that the romance is even remotely there for me to care about.
So I would disagree with you in that I think they have great chemistry in those movies.
They do, but the writing's terrible.
Here's my problem, and I realized it with this one. I love that this isn't Gwen Stacy because there isn't this omnipresent doom. Like, I realized how taxing the Amazing Spider-Man movies were now because you always knew. And here I'm like, oh, I just get to enjoy this. There's not a bittersweetness to this. It's just like, oh, this is just kind of fun. And I think they're cute together. And I think everybody is doing a good job, and they've got good chemistry together. And so, like, those scenes to me are really wonderful.
And Ned with Betty Brant. For the short amount of time.
That was a
like,
really
the
good
moment they got together, I'm like, they're breaking up at the end of the movie, aren't they? And I didn't care.
Yeah, it was just fun.
All the humor in the movie is just like so great, and like the Tony Stark, Edith glasses, even dead, I'm still the hero.
Yeah, so good. Oh man, and that they're hideous. I mean, they're hideous in a Tony. Like, you can see Tony wearing those and pulling it off.
Oh yeah, you had him in Infinity War.
Is it really the same ones? Oh, funny. Oh man.
I think Tom Holland does look dashing in those glasses. No, here's why I think that. Because there's a scene, that scene in the bar where Mysterio gives out his plan.
Yeah.
Before that, Tom Holland's wearing those glasses in the bar next to Jake Gyllenhaal in a bar. And my theory is that this is a secret Zodiac sequel, in which Jake Gyllenhaal has now become Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Downey Jr. has now become Tom Holland and Jake Gyllenhaal all in one, and they're going to try to catch the Zodiac killer.
I
just liked it because it was just fun for me in my head. It makes no sense to other people.
Nope, it makes no sense.
No, exactly to other people. To me, it does, but I'm an idiot. No, but I think I liked how that scene with the drone above the bus. And him having to...
That was maybe my least favorite scene in the movie.
See, I don't like the scene itself necessarily, but there's a shot where he pops up the top of the bus and destroys it and then comes back down and goes like, oh, you missed the baby goat.
that was cool, but mostly because I was just glad that scene was over.
Yeah, him actually knocking out Flash Thompson felt like a little out of character. Like, it seemed a little violent.
Well, I think it was an accident.
It was an accident, but...
The whole scene to me is the worst scene in the movie because... It's so
extra
silly. Yes, extra is a good way. Is too much.
It's a high school movie moment in a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, in a way
almost
that,
killing these kids at that point in the movie. Yeah,
yeah. You could have written that scene in a different way where, he says something, and so Edith sends down a killer drone to be like, "Oh yeah, I can just go kill that person for you," and he's like. No, wait, what? Wait, there's killer drone? No, I don't need any of this.
I think in that scene there was even I misspoke, and then like any other movie would have been like, oh, I said the wrong thing, just delete, and it would have been over.
Right.
But they really go all in on it, yeah, and that's why it feels odd.
Yeah, and because all he really needed to say was Edith, I need you to hack into that guy's phone and delete a photo.
But he couldn't speak that loud because if he did, he would give away the fact that he has AI glasses.
That's
you see the conflict in his head.
That's a stupid
and
thing.
On his head.
But that is a stupid thing.
But he also
I agree, but I didn't write it, James.
But he also jumps out the roof of a bus real quick and then blasts
yeah, and that was cool.
No one saw that. Yeah, then he could definitely say the words. Yeah,
exactly.
My other favorite part of the movie is after he gets hit by the train. Happy Hogan rescues him, and then he gets to make his new spider suit, and then it goes back to Iron Man 1 where they kick in the AC/DC.
He's like,
yeah,
it's and then Happy's watching him like he's watching Tony Stark, and what a great callback.
That I love.
And then Tom Holland says, "I love Led Zeppelin," and immediately we hate him again.
Yeah,
but that scene before that though, where he talks about him like Tony wasn't even good at being Tony, that to me. Endgame wrapped up Tony for me, but this gave me closure on Tony. Mm-hmm. That moment gives me closure on Tony in a way that even the Love You 3000 scene doesn't. There's just a certain thing. And it means a lot coming from Jon Favreau, who took us down this crazy, ridiculous road from the start to say something poignant about what we've experienced for 11 years regarding Tony Stark and how it relates to where we go forward with Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think the movie does. I really didn't want them to try to say oh, Spider-Man's going to be the new Tony, but then they did. This movie pulls it off in a pretty good way.
I agree.
This movie kind of reminds you, oh, this is why we enjoyed Tony Stark in the first place, and here's just a great character, and it kind of walks the line of hey, he doesn't need to be the backbone of a whole team, but. The fun of this franchise is still here, and you're gonna get some of what you liked about Tony in these other characters, especially in Peter.
Holland pulls off a little fun Stark-esque quirk. It was one of the few scenes that make my heart melt in something. After everything's all said and done, Zendaya and him are meeting up, and Zendaya kisses him, and he just goes "Did you just kiss me?" And I was just that's nice.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So part of Mysterio's cover that he explained that he was a remnant of the multiverse,
right?
But that was all
bullshit.
An act. So does that mean there's not a multiverse?
I think the movie allows for there to be a multiverse, but that his explanation is bullshit.
Yeah. So there's not really right now. There's still not an Earth 616 and an Earth 2 whatever that he was.
Well, there's an Earth 616.
Yeah. But they don't call it that.
Sort of. Yeah.
They're not self-aware.
It's weird that they picked that number because Earth 616 is the comic book universe, and this isn't Earth 616.
I think that was a nod, yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of good that at least that part's not true. But, yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible that they would do a multiverse. I don't think they want to. Because if you just did a multiverse in the animated version and you're going to continue to do that in an animated series or sequel films, like, it's not in Marvel's best interest to create a multiverse in their universe. The truth is, the best thing is for them to just keep doing what they're doing and tell really good stories that have a single canon. The multiverse comes up because you want to do weird shit.
Well, okay, there is, but
they don't need to break the universe yet.
But there is weird shit in this film, and if we're comfortable getting to the mid-credit sequence, we can talk about that weird shit. Because there's a person from a different fucking universe.
No. And it's okay, because what we all... Okay, so this is the best thing in the whole fucking movie. And I say this because we all talked about, like, hey, we all know you're rebooting the thing, but J.K. Simmons was so fucking good. You're allowed to just keep him and not have to explain it.
Okay.
And then they did.
Yeah.
And it's great. And he just gets to be JJ, who in this version
is Alex Jones.
Is fucking Alex Jones.
I was like, J.J. Jameson doesn't have any hair? All right.
Right. No, because he's just Alex Jones now, and a sequel to this movie is a fake news Spider Slayers evil JJ fucking movie.
Yeah.
And I want that so goddamn bad. Like, I want the sequel. I want the Spider-Man universe to just become a we hate Alex Jones and all your InfoWars bullshit. Like, that would be the best version of life.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Especially did you have him immediately be the biggest asshole and reveal
exactly
who Peter is.
And did you see Brightburn yet?
No.
Michael Rooker does a similar thing at the end of Brightburn, and it's pretty fun for the Brightburn universe too.
Oh, great!
Because he's talking about, like, oh, there's also a Wonder Woman creature and an Aqua creature, and they're all over here, and they're gonna take over the world. And
gotcha.
But no, like I liked seeing Simmons do it again, and this is a natural thing to do with Jameson in this day and age, because you can't do it the way you did it 10, 15 years ago.
Because nobody gives a shit about newspapers, but to make him basically InfoWars is perfect. And the video game actually does a very similar thing.
Yeah.
Where the Sony's Marvel's Spider-Man for PlayStation or Xbox, whatever.
Well, this film is Sony's, Disney's, Marvel's The Avengers. So.
Yeah. But I say it funny because the game is just called Spider-Man, and so it's one of those things like Star Trek where you're like, which Star Trek? no, which Spider-Man? It's the Spider-Man game. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
In that one, he does like podcasts and runs a website, you know. So you just hear him in audio, and it's a similar thing where you've got to update him and make him one of those awful cretins.
Yeah, those assholes. Just say the word assholes.
Troglodytes.
Yeah, but like I said, like, this film tackles a lot of different elements that I give props to Marvel wanting to address them.
Yeah,
and it falls in line with their history as a comic company that does address issues. So, but on top of that, though, like, I just really liked watching Peter Parker do his thing. Like, I always give Ryan shit about Spider-Man movies and Spider-Man as a character, but, like, there are Spider-Man things that I love, and this is a Spider-Man movie that I did love. Like, I loved Homecoming, but this one is, I don't know, like, this is one I want to rewatch more. I don't know why exactly. I couldn't tell you exactly why yet. I need to still sit with it.
It feels pretty lean too.
And it has one of my favorite lines in a Spider-Man anything, which is Happy Hogan going, "I'm in love with Spider-Man's aunt." What I thought we were all sharing.
Which gives away his identity right there.
Yes.
Oh, totally.
Oh,
yes.
my God, yes.
Well, luckily, there's only one character in that scene who... No, Flash is there, too.
But Flash doesn't care because...
And Flash is an idiot.
By the way, no, Flash has an arc in this movie because when he comes home and he asks his limo driver if Mom was there to pick him up at the airport, I'm like, oh, my God, why am I going to cry about Flash Thompson?
It's so bad for Flash. But it's okay because Spider-Man is following Flash, so he's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not like super. It's not Men in Black lean, but you know, every scene is there for a reason. There's not too much exposition-y stuff.
That's another quote for a fake poster I'm gonna make now.
Men in Black is less than 90 minutes. Like that's a lean movie.
It's not like Men in Black lean.
Yeah. But I think it moves along. It moves along pretty well. But you're right. Like, the pacing is bizarre because it's like all first act and then a third act.
Yeah.
And no second act at all. It's like 2 minutes of second act.
I think the second act is that Mysterio reveal scene, and that's like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I guess you know what the first Spider-Man illusion scene where Mysterio is trying to find out who all knows about him. That's kind of second acty, you know, because the third act is really Mysterio wants to kill Spider-Man and his friends.
Which, by the way, the Mysterio bonkers sequences. I'm going to call them those.
Yeah,
those are creative
nightmare
and fun.
sequences.
Yeah,
they're really cool.
Yeah, and there's some stuff in there that I'm like, this movie's PG-13. What's that doing there? And then I realized that the world has changed and the game has changed and there are no rules and it's anarchy.
Yeah, there were definitely a couple of moments where I was like, oh wow, that's like.
It's just because we've been conditioned to think this is appropriate for this rating, blah 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 blah. That I'm just like, wow, like Disney must have paid off a bunch of people.
It was visually really cool, especially that first one.
Yeah,
it was kind of. It doesn't have the moving buildings and glass stuff of a Doctor Strange, but the psychedelic, like, where are we falling constantly, going everywhere
what
stuff.
What is Jake Gyllenhaal's last line? I remember liking it, but I can't fucking remember what it is.
Peter Parker.
No, he says...
Yeah, the last thing Jake Gyllenhaal says in the movie is Peter Parker.
No, before he dies, like, in the scene...
They'll believe anything.
They'll believe anything. Yeah, just like...
These days, they'll believe anything.
And that reveal... with us knowing, well, one, it matches up well with Homecoming when Aunt May finds out he's Spider-Man.
It's a weird thing because when did he record the video of him saying that? Like,
I thought that whole
internet,
that was just weird.
Even him defeating Mysterio, I was like confused because he's talking to the apparition, but then the real one pulls a gun on Peter, and then Peter moves his
dies.
Hand. And also gets shot at the same time?
Well, no, I think he actually does get shot earlier, but then it's an illusion of him dying on one side, and then he has the gun, and then, but it's weird. I don't know why.
But he clearly didn't die because he gets the footage to Simmons somehow. So
yeah, but then does he die after that?
No, because whenever the other assistant, the one that Jeff Bridges yelled at in the flashback. The one that's been controlling it from the other area, he gets the info and then spreads it to.
Right, but when does Mysterio record the video?
He must have recorded it just during that moment, because for all I know, he's got another drone stashed away somewhere or a security camera that he's hacked into.
Weird.
I'm gonna say movie magic.
Yeah,
because that's a good answer for a lot of things.
It's fine. It's just weird, and it's weird because I wish he didn't die. Like, I wish they just didn't have him die, and he recorded that really quick, and then you could have two awesome villains played by awesome actors in a jail with a Scorpion Man.
I agree, because I don't know what they're going to do with Scorpion, and maybe that's why I'm saying
they're going to have JJ fund him having a Scorpion suit put on him.
Right, but it's not going to be as interesting, is it? Unless Scorpion really did something spectacular.
No. You're focused on Scorpion. The Vulture's in jail still.
I
wanted
both
Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, I want them both to be just in jail. I want them to slowly build up a Sinister Six, but the right way. Like, they could do that. And he's just such a great character and a great actor in this movie. Like, you don't have to kill all the villains. You don't have to kill every villain.
Well, they haven't killed every villain.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like...
Loki.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird, that they did kill one, because most of them do stay alive.
Yeah.
I think, though... But the fact that he does...
I don't think he's dead anyway.
He could be. It could be another illusion.
Yeah,
but the leaving him on that line, they'll believe anything, is kind of telling for what we're going to see going forward in terms of just like how they're going to play with these characters moving forward. Because now they're going to add another dramatic or thematic dimension to the game. And I like how they do unveil Peter Parker's. Well, I don't like that they unveil his identity, but I'm fascinated that at the end of the first Iron Man, Tony Stark just says I'm Iron Man, and then this one we're forcibly pulling off the veil of Peter Parker, and now that's something we can deal with. But it's different than when Tony did it.
Oh yeah,
when Tony did it, it didn't have the same impact to the world. It had an impact to us as an audience because it was one of those few times where a superhero was just going to say, "Fuck it, I'm the superhero."
Right.
And then Spider-Man, it's so tied to a lot of his conflict.
Yeah.
inner conflict.
But in the age of social media, like having superheroes with secret identities, especially after Avengers 2, when most of the world knows who the Avengers are, it's kind of silly to have Peter Parker be the only one who can keep his identity.
Totally. And the only reason you do it is because he's a kid. Mm-hmm. The nice thing was I was comfortable with it because all of the characters who were actually in his life were now learning who he was. And so it kind of became like we all just don't talk about it, but we kind of know. Very similar to Spider-Man 2, where, I mean, in Spider-Man 2, there's a lot of people who know who Spider-Man is, but they know the right thing is for nobody to talk about it.
There's a whole train of people who
know. Yeah. So, I don't think you had to. Here, what's interesting is that by revealing it, people who want to hurt him, like a JJ, know how to. Mm-hmm. It's weird, though, because that was their hanging Chad off of the Vulture in the first movie, was that he knew in a world of people who didn't. So now the Vulture kind of doesn't have anything, but that might also be that now in discussions they're like, ooh, you know what? He doesn't want to come back, and so we don't think we're going to do the Vulture anymore, so it doesn't really matter. Let's twist to this, that, or the other.
Well, he wouldn't come back for Birdman 4 either, so, Michael Keaton doesn't come back for a lot of things.
Also, what's up with Spider-Man attracting the ire of so many scientists, like in tech people?
Well, he's just there. It's not intentional. He's thwarting their evil plans. He's like the mystery team of.
He never seems to thwart the plans of.
He's the Scooby gang of mystery of.
No,
of
go back
movies.
to mystery team for a second.
Mystery team.
Norman Osborn, scientist. Doc Ock, scientist. The Vulture, tech recycler. Mysterio, motion cap.
All of them have evil plans, and
he's got to stop them.
He just keeps thwarting their evil plans. And they would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for
that meddling spider.
Meddling spiders. He is a science guy. He doesn't hate science people. That's what it is. It's because he's into science that he just knows a lot of science people.
And he knows that those science people are bad science
people. He's just at school.
Well, but he's
science
a
projects.
But he's
the other people are multi-million-dollar corporations.
But he's super good at
special
science.
School.
It's like how you're super good at other things.
He gets a lot of internships.
Yeah,
he's big on unpaid internships, and not being able to pay his rent. Let me tell you about Spider-Man.
And having to drive a Spider-Mobile in one issue.
All I've seen him do is go to class and go on field trips and then dissolve into dust and come back on.
I'm fairly sure I got to see him fight a man once who then yelled out, "Back to formula."
There was a time...
He went to MoMA and then Europe.
There was a time where he had to work really hard at science. Then he got rich friends who just give him stuff.
And one of his rich friends looked in a mirror and his father came back in the mirror and said, "Avenge me!"
God damn it.
Really like Willem Dafoe.
Not these movies.
They could be. You know what? If we could bring back J. Jonah Jameson into these goddamn movies, I want to see Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin again.
Do we have to bring back the Power Ranger though? Can it just be?
Oh, the suit you mean?
Yeah.
No. We changed
that. I just want Willem Dafoe in Lou Ferrigno style green paint.
Yes. Yes. Why not?
Willem Dafoe doesn't play Norman Osborn. Willem Dafoe just plays the Goblin, so that when Norman Osborn, who's played by, I don't know, John Stamos, when Norman Osborn turns into the Green Goblin, he's just suddenly replaced by Willem Dafoe in Lou Ferrigno paint.
And
that's what I want.
And that's a benefit for Willem Dafoe because right afterwards he can go to a rave and fit right in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because Willem Dafoe goes to a lot of raves.
Anyway, next week.
It's a blank
is
week.
Is Lion King 2 weeks?
Let me look.
Because Stuber's this week.
Stuber.
But I was going to say, though, maybe this is a good time to do 99 Film Explosion.
Oh.
Well, assuming everyone can be on the show.
Right. I can find out.
But yeah, Midsummer came out last week. We could move that. But Stuber, Crawl, Art of Self-Defense. Well, Self-Defense is limited. And then, Lion King's the week after. And then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And then Hobbs and Shaw. So.
I mean, yeah. Hobbs and Shaw. I personally think, because I don't think all of us are going to want to review Midsommar. I know Ryan's just not going to go because he didn't like Hereditary.
Yeah.
Crawl. No, you guys should see Crawl.
We could see Crawl.
Yeah.
But or like I said, like Film Explosion might work out at the end of the day if we can all participate.
Yeah, right.
We'll figure it out. We never know, guys. We run on a random ship here called the USS Real Nerds.
It'll be a Film Explosion 99 redacted, because some of us are going to go back and change our list while others are going to present their list for the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know that I would change mine.
99?
There's
2009
Yeah,
for
2009 is the one you've got to change.
2009, I will. Yeah,
You've got to rectify a fucking mistake.
Wow, hey, look who's fucking talking. Hey, can we go back and do every Film Explosion ever again so that Zach can fix his mistakes?
I don't know what you're talking about. Saving Private Ryan is the 5th best film of 1998.
You know, when we're done with 2004, that's it. That's it for Retro Film Explosions, unless we just keep revisiting
Or we could go into the 70s at that point.
I can't do a 70s.
We already tried this. We did a top 10 of the whole 70s, and it was difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's
no,
fair.
that won't work.
Yeah.
We could do a top 10 Film Explosion of films we think will be made in the future. Try to make some guesses, see if we're right 10 years later.
That might actually be kind of fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to find...
Like, eventually they'll make a new Turtles movie.
Yeah, exactly. And you could describe how perfect it'll be.
Ooh, okay. It would be a whole new thing where
the next Star Wars movie that
in 2025, when this is a problem for
in the
us,
year 25.
so 5.5 years from now, when this becomes an actual problem, we could do something like, instead of doing lists, you go around the table and each person pitches their ideal version of a future film. That would be a cool theoretical way of doing it, where you just like outline the beats of like, okay, my TMNT movie would be,
or this
TMNT meets the Monkey People, and it would basically be the Mutant Turtles fighting the Planet of the Apes, and then you'd go through it.
Or I can be like, so this is what I think Quentin Tarantino's Star Trek movie is gonna look like.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, no idea what we're doing next week.
We will let you know via that Facebook page that we always post on.
But I did want to draw attention to one quick thing before we end here.
How I was actually right about my Film Explosion list?
No, never. If you're on Amazon and you're looking to buy the 4K 2 set of Planet Earth 2 and Blue Planet 2, and you scroll down to the things frequently bought together, it's Blade Runner 2049 and The Revenant.
What?
And I don't know why. Because it's not a 4K thing, because Blade Runner 2049 is in Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So I have no idea why people are frequently buying the 2 set of Planet Earth and Blue Planet 2.
It's got to be
with
weed.
Blade Runner and The Revenant.
The Revenant is sort of naturey, so that I get, but
and
Blade Runner...
And at least Revenant is 4K, so it's like, oh, I'm getting all my 4Ks at one time.
It must be weed, because like they're getting stoned. They want to watch something that'll make them feel smart. They want to watch something that looks pretty, and then they want to watch something that'll make them feel sad and want to go to bed.
Blue Planet's really good for naps. You ever taken a nap to a Blue Planet movie?
There's another quote for another poster.
Blue Planet, really great for taking naps.
I'm really having fun, by the way, making I should share them on the website, but I have fun making these fake posters for James and his quotes that are one. The Fifth Element one, still my favorite.
One was really good.
Blade Runner drawn by child.
Alrighty, well that's this week.
All right,
thanks guys.
Until next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Real Nerds Podcast. Real Nerds Podcast is a production of Nebulous Visions Multimedia. Thank you to Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios for our kick-ass theme song. Also, if you're in the Denver area and you're looking for a cool place to see movies, we see them at the Alamo Drafthouse in Littleton and now also in Sloan's Lake. Thank you to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics for supplying us with all our comic needs, especially you, Andrew. You know who you are. And a big shout out to James's mom. I'm giving you an electronic hug that you can feel through the airwaves. Thanks for listening, and have a nice day.